Chapter 3244. As soon as he entered the ancient site recorded on the map, Knight Sorrow smelled a strong smell of blood. This proved that there must have been a battle at the edge of the ancient site not long ago. The blood did not dissipate for a long time. Pasua, do you want to recover or come out with me? Knight Sorrow checked and found that Sulei's condition was not very good, but Pasua's condition seemed to be okay, so he asked. After all, everyone could come across an opportunity in this ancient site. If it was just for safety, they would not have come to such a place. Hearing Knight Sorrow's words, Pasua said, "Let me out. I'll fight alongside you." Okay. There should be many batches of students here. Among them, there are nearly 10 upper heavenly sovereigns. We have to be vigilant in case we get ambushed. As Knight Sorrow moved forward, he used the sea serpent's eye to observe the surroundings. At the same time, he reminded Pasua. Pasua opened her vertical eye and said with a smile, "With our eye techniques, we don't have to be afraid of their traps." You're confident. However, this place has been exposed for a long time. There shouldn't be many opportunities in the periphery. Let's go in too. After using the newly evolved sea serpent's eye to observe, Knight Sorrow did not see anything valuable, so he prepared to continue walking in. Pasua, who had also observed for a while, nodded and said, "The surrounding 10,000 miles have indeed been turned upside down. Let's continue going in." Yes, faster. After all, there's still Lin Dongqing behind us. That horn of his is very difficult to deal with. After Knight Sorrow finished speaking, he led the way in front. As for Pasua, she was slightly behind. This was to prevent the two of them from falling into the trap at the same time. After walking for about 100,000 miles, Knight Sorrow's eyes lit up. He transmitted his voice to Pasua. "Look at the underground in the southwest direction." "What's there?" Pasua heard the transmission and immediately looked in the direction that Knight Sorrow had pointed out. She was surprised and said, "According to the description on Elder Su's map, this is the Supreme Heaven Essence pill. How could we find one so easily? That's great. Could it be fake or an illusion?" "It's not fake. How could a fake Sovereign Heaven origin pill deceive our eye techniques?" "Wait a moment, I'll bring it over." While Knight Sorrow observed with the sea serpent's eye, he released his divine soul power to investigate the Sovereign Heaven Essence pill in front of him. After confirming that the artifact was real, Zhang Xian immediately flew down to retrieve it. Isn't this a little too easy? Seeing that Knight Sorrow had taken the Supreme Heaven Essence pill without being attacked, Hasa woman didn't know what to say. It's indeed unexpected that things would go so smoothly. I think it's very likely that he has an advantage in finding treasures because he has an eye technique. Knight Sorrow, who also felt that this matter was quite strange, spoke up and continued to search with Hasa. After flying for another 200,000 miles in the void, they found another Supreme Heaven Origin pill. This Sovereign Heaven Origin pill was the same as the previous one. It was also buried in the ground. Knight Sorrow checked it and didn't find any danger. He looked at Hasa and said, "Go and get it. This is unbelievably smooth. Could it be that none of the students in front of us know eye techniques?" Hasa woman was using her vertical eye to observe the Sovereign Heaven Origin pill not far away. She felt that things were going so smoothly that it was like a dream. She hesitated and didn't immediately go to retrieve it. This artifact must be real. It's the same as the one in my hand. Even if it's dangerous, it's worth the risk. I'll go get it and give it to you. Knight Sorrow was also someone who had experienced hundreds of battles. Naturally, he could figure out what was going on. However, he was very confident in his own strength at the moment. He felt that even an upper heavenly sovereign wouldn't be able to hurt him. Thus, he flew directly toward the Sovereign Heaven Origin pill. Bastard! Why isn't Lin Dongqing the one who came? Isn't our plan going to be in vain? After Knight Sorrow flew closer, an upper heavenly sovereign, who had used a secret treasure to hide near the Sovereign Heaven Origin pill, said unhappily. Including the first Sovereign Heaven Origin pill, it was all planned by their group. The first Sovereign Heaven Origin pill was to eliminate Lin Dongqing's vigilance, and the second Sovereign Heaven Origin pill was a trap for Lin Dongqing. This trap relied on a one-time use superior grade concealment talisman. Even Knight Sorrow and Hasa woman hadn't noticed any clues, let alone Lin Dongqing. However, at this moment, the person who had set up the trap didn't see Lin Dongqing, but Night Sorrow had come. Leader, what should we do? Go out and kill him? After the upper heavenly sovereign finished speaking, another cultivator immediately asked, What are you talking about? Nonsense. Of course, we have to kill him. However, we have to do it quickly. After all, according to the information, Lin Dongqing will be here soon. That bastard has a half-step to supreme grade divine artifact. We can't fight him head-on. The upper heavenly sovereign who had spoken just now secretly cursed his bad luck as he gave the order. Something's not right. Hasa, get ready to fight or escape. After the group spoke, Night Sorrow immediately felt a slight fluctuation in the space. Although this fluctuation was weak, he still sensed it. He immediately warned Hasa Woman. I knew it. Things aren't that simple. Hasa Woman said. Then, she summoned the 1,000 illusion eyes in the void and started to prepare for the descent of all evil. She knew that her strength was at the bottom of the list in this ancient site. Therefore, she used her ultimate move. Indeed, they are not simple. Their concealment techniques can deceive our eye techniques. If they were scheming against others, the success rate would be higher. As Night Sorrow replied, he immediately activated the 33 Heavens secret combat technique. His cultivation level was lower than Hasa Woman's, so he couldn't be careless. I didn't expect that an earthly sovereign like you would be so alert. However, all of this is in vain. You have affected my plan to kill Lin Dongqing. You must die. At this moment, 3 cultivators walked out from the void near the Sovereign Heaven primary pill. The black-robed male cultivator standing in the middle was an upper heavenly sovereign. The man and woman beside him were both middle heavenly sovereigns. Without giving Night Sorrow a chance to speak, the upper heavenly sovereign thrust out his spear. His spear looked similar to an ordinary red-tasseled spear, but it was very powerful. Night Sorrow, who was brandishing his golden heavenly halberd to block the attack, immediately asked, Who are you? Did you set up the Sovereign Heaven primary pill to kill Lin Dongqing? Lin Dongqing and I have an irreconcilable feud. I must kill him. You have ruined my chance, so it's useless to say anything else. Die. Chao Meng, the upper heavenly sovereign, said coldly as he launched another attack on Yishang. Chapter 3245. Let me give you a piece of advice. If you don't want Lin Dongqing to reap the benefits, you'd better stop now. He's chasing after me and will be here soon. Night Sorrow said coldly as he struggled to defend against Chao Meng's attack. At this moment, he stopped Dancing Lady, who was about to unleash the descent of all evil. To him, these people were the enemy of his enemy. They didn't have to be killed. Naturally, he didn't want Lin Dongqing to benefit because of them. We know that Lin Dongqing will be here soon. But killing the two of you won't affect the overall situation. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Chao Meng didn't put Night Sorrow and Dancing Lady in his eyes at all. He said coldly, What are the two of you still standing there for? Kill the two of them immediately. Then plan how to deal with Lin Dongqing. Yes. The female cultivator beside Chao Meng immediately attacked Dancing Lady. The other male cultivator cooperated with Chao Meng and attacked Night Sorrow. He wanted to finish off Night Sorrow quickly. You idiots! If you can defeat Lin Dongqing, I'll write my name backwards. Based on Chao Meng's eyesight and state of mind, Night Sorrow was sure that he was no match for Lin Dongqing. While replying with disdain, he activated Armageddon. While fighting Chao Meng and the others, he transmitted his voice to Dancing Lady. With our strength, defeating Chao Meng and the others isn't difficult. But we definitely need time. That would definitely allow Lin Dongqing to reap the benefits. Let's fight them and leave immediately. Alright. Chao Meng is really an idiot who doesn't know when to stop. Dancing Lady also felt that although Chao Meng's cultivation was high, he was definitely an idiot. It was clear that Night Sorrow and Dancing Lady had a grudge against Lin Dongqing. Most people would choose to join forces with them to deal with Lin Dongqing. But Chao Meng chose to fight Night Sorrow to the death when Lin Dongqing was about to arrive. This choice was the most disadvantageous to him. You're an Earth Sovereign, but you talk big. Prepare to die. At this moment, Chao Meng, who was despised by Night Sorrow, flew into a rage and said contemptuously. Then he used his ultimate technique. Clear Sky White Sun Spear. This move was very beautiful, and its power was also very good. However, Night Sorrow was also someone who was good at using guns. After observing it with the Sea Serpent's eye, he discovered a loophole. Using the strengthened Qingxian Godly Spear technique to fight back in the state of Armageddon. As for the other male cultivator's attacks, they were all dodged by his 9 defiant steps. In a 1 versus 2 situation, not only did he neutralize Chao Meng's attack, but he also made all of the middle-level Heavenly Sovereign's attacks miss. I didn't expect this earthly sovereign to be so powerful, but since we've already started, there's no turning back. Kill. After Chao Meng discovered that Night Sorrow's strength was not to be underestimated, he did not stop attacking. Instead, he ignited his bloodline power. He displayed an even more powerful ultimate skill. In the face of Chao Meng's attack, Chao Meng's Night Sorrow, which could destroy heaven and earth, wasn't under much pressure. But according to his speculations, Lin Dongqing might have already arrived. Therefore, he didn't want to delay any longer. He sent a voice transmission to Hasa Lady. This person is a fool. He will die in Lin Dongqing's hands sooner or later. Let's go. I have absolute confidence in escaping. Don't worry about me. After receiving Yishang's telepathic message, Dancing Woman replied. After advancing to a middle-level Heavenly Sovereign, her strength had increased significantly. Facing a middle-level Heavenly Sovereign female cultivator in front of her, she didn't feel much pressure at all. If she went all out, she even had the confidence to kill her. If she just wanted to leave, she could do it. Alright. Since you're so confident, let's go. Night Sorrow sent a voice transmission to Hasa Lady again. Then he formed a dozen word seals and a divine origin trapping array to slow down Chao Meng and the other male cultivator. Then he soared into the sky and flew into the distance. You want to leave? Where do you think you're going? Seeing that Night Sorrow was about to leave, Chao Meng, whose speed was restricted, immediately took out a pagoda-shaped divine artifact. He used it to shatter Night Sorrow's word seals and divine origin trapping array. Then he chased after them. Why is the aura of this pagoda so familiar? At this moment, Night Sorrow deliberately slowed down to let Hasa Lady catch up. Suddenly, he felt that the pagoda that Chao Meng took out was somewhat familiar. He immediately used the Sea Serpent's eye to look behind him. Before Night Sorrow could see anything, Xiaowu said in surprise, "That pagoda. It's the 6th level of our Eternal Divine Tower. I heard that it was in a city. I didn't expect it to appear in this person's hands." What? This pagoda is actually the 6th level of the Eternal Divine Tower. That's great. This is really a case of traveling far and wide in search of something, only to find it by chance. Hearing this, Night Sorrow immediately stopped in his tracks. He looked at Hasa Lady and said, "I suddenly have a reason to fight. You can enter my heavenly abode. In case Lin Dongqing appears and attacks you." "No need. Trust me, I can protect myself." Hasa Lady didn't ask why Night Sorrow suddenly wanted to fight, but she stood beside him and didn't retreat. Night Sorrow looked sideways and said, "Thank you." At this moment, he took another look at Hasa Lady. "Night Sorrow, in this battle, if you can obtain and purify Xiaowu, our 5th, 6th, 7th, and 9th levels can be promoted to half-step to Supreme Realm. You are worth a try." Little Seven transmitted his voice. "Then all the more I have to take the risk." Hearing this, Night Sorrow's body suddenly erupted with a strong fighting spirit. Holding the golden heavenly halberd in his hand, he directly attacked Chao Meng. "I didn't expect you to actually turn back. But this is good. I'll take care of you and Lin Dongqing." Chao Meng didn't expect Night Sorrow to turn back and was caught off guard. However, he was an upper heavenly supreme after all, and he wasn't instantly defeated by such an attack. However, the female cultivator beside Chao Meng wasn't so lucky. She was directly hit by Hasa Lady's all-evil descends. She was instantly entangled with misfortune, and the battle became extremely awkward. Well done, Hasa. Hasa Lady had used all-evil descends to attack the female cultivator, causing her to lose half of her fighting strength. Night Sorrow praised her, then turned to the male cultivator beside Chao Meng, and launched his most violent attack. This time, the middle heavenly supreme male cultivator was no longer ignored. But he immediately realized how strong Night Sorrow was. In less than 10 breaths, his dantian was pierced. He was so frightened that he quickly crushed a secret treasure and used its characteristics to disappear on the spot. I'll give you a chance. Hand over the pagoda in your hand, and I'll let you live. Night Sorrow looked at Chow Mang and said after Chow Mang's left and right arms had been dealt with one after another. According to his judgment, Lin Dongqing could arrive at any time, and he didn't want to waste too much time. You want me to surrender? Dream on. I'll drag it out until Lin Dongqing arrives and make you suffer. At this moment, Chow Mang, whose left and right arms had been crippled, roared crazily. Chapter 3246. Die. Just as Chow Mang's voice fell, Dancing Woman suddenly shouted and shattered the female cultivator's dantian. This female cultivator was different from the male cultivator, who had just escaped. She didn't have any life-saving methods. With her dantian shattered, Dancing Woman shattered her soul. She was completely killed. Whinnying. Seeing the female cultivator killed, the veins on Chow Mang's face bulged. He looked much more ferocious. With a gloomy face, he looked at Night Sorrow and Dancing Woman with a venomous gaze. He roared resentfully. Today, even if I have to self-destruct, I, Chow Mang, will make you accompany whinnying in death. Then, as if he had gone mad, he attacked Dancing Woman. But Night Sorrow was right beside him. How could he let him have his way? When Chow Mang attacked Dancing Woman, he used the 12 words of truth to slow down Chow Mang. This 100 words of truth is really powerful. Dancing Woman praised when she saw Night Sorrow use the 100 words of truth to slow down Chow Mang's speed. Then she used the 1,000 illusion net. Chow Mang was trapped in the center of the net. She captured him so easily. Seeing Dancing Woman's 1,000 illusion net trap Chow Mang, Night Sorrow suddenly felt that Chow Mang might be playing tricks. He transmitted his voice to Dancing Woman, reminding her not to be careless. He flew to the ground and kept the Sovereign Heaven Origin pills that he hadn't taken out into his spatial artifact. While he was collecting the Sovereign Heaven Origin pills, Chow Mang roared crazily, but he still didn't fight for the 1,000 illusion net's restraint. Dancing Woman, you take care of Lin Dongqing. I'll deal with Chow Mang. Under such circumstances, Night Sorrow transmitted his voice to Dancing Woman. Then he held the golden heavenly halberd and shot a godly spear at Chow Mang. According to his judgment, Chow Mang was pretending to be restrained and was preparing a big move in the center of the 1,000 illusion net. Therefore, Night Sorrow didn't manage to close the distance between them. At the same time, Night Sorrow summoned Little 5, Little 7, Little 8 and Little 9. They fought against the 6th level of the Eternal Divine Tower in the Void. He was prepared to let them directly subdue the 6th level. This was also a move to buy time. After all, Lin Dongqing could appear at any time. Boom. Just as Night Sorrow's godly shot was about to hit Chow Mang's eyes lit up. Chow Mang's body suddenly erupted with a shocking red light, blocking the attack of the god's spear. As for his entire person, after bathing in the red light, his aura rose by a lot. At this time, he looked coldly at the whirling woman and said, "Multi-eyed monster, I really have to thank you for giving me the chance to hibernate. You gave me enough time to use my strongest bloodline skill. Descent of all evils." Being called the multi-eyed monster, Dancing Woman was immediately enraged. She gathered her aura and used the descent of all evil again. After using this move, she seemed to be a little weak. Facing the descending Chow Mang, he simply did not place this move in his eyes. Using his left fist, he blasted out a beam of blood-red light and forcefully dispersed the descent of all evil. How is this possible? This was the first time that the descent of all evil had been broken apart, which surprised Dancing Woman. Quick! Enter my space grotto heaven. At this time, Night Sorrow suddenly shouted, because he saw that Lin Dongqing had already appeared in the distance with his people. In addition to Lin Dongqing, there were 6 other cultivators. With such a lineup and the one-horned man, the threat was too great. Night Sorrow was not sure if he and the ancient coffin could stop them, so he prepared to leave immediately. Okay. After Night Sorrow's reminder, the whirling woman, who was not in a good state, immediately entered his space grotto heaven. Night Sorrow, although we can suppress it, we can't take it back. We still need you to purify it. At this time, Little Seven suddenly reminded him. After the fourth floor took action, they quickly suppressed the sixth floor, but they did not have the means to purify it. It seems that things are getting complicated. We can't leave directly. After receiving Little Seven's voice transmission, Night Sorrow thought for a moment. Without hesitation, he took out the ancient coffin and threw it at Chow Mang. At the same time, he summoned the power of merit to purify the suppressed sixth floor of the Eternal Divine Tower. This process was completed very quickly. However, when Night Sorrow obtained the sixth floor, Lin Dongqing had already arrived with his people. They surrounded him and Chow Mang. Phew. That went well. It's good that we got it. Although they were surrounded, Night Sorrow, who obtained the sixth floor of the Eternal Divine Tower, finally heaved a sigh of relief. He began to think about how to escape unscathed. Lin Dongqing, who saw that it was Night Sorrow and Chow Mang fighting, laughed and said, "I was still wondering who it was. So it's the two of you fighting each other. Nice, very nice. You guys continue to fight. I'll spare the life of whoever wins." "Who do you think you are? Do you think I, the Night Demon, need you to spare my life?" Night Sorrow took back the ancient coffin that he had thrown at Chow Mang. At the same time, he sent a voice transmission to Little Seven. "Little Seven, think of a way to combine a half-step paramount divine weapon. Don't worry. A half-step paramount divine weapon will be produced soon. I guarantee that its power won't be inferior to Lin Dongqing's horn. You just need to delay it for 20 breaths." Little Seven replied. 20 breaths? That's easy. Night Sorrow secretly replied. At this moment, Chow Mang saw Lin Dongqing arrive. He glanced at Lin Dongqing and then at Night Sorrow. His eyes flashed with a cold, resentful light. After pondering for a moment, he roared in a low voice, "All of you die." He chose to self-destruct on the spot. Brute. Night Sorrow, who had wanted to use Chow Mang to buy some time, immediately used the defiant 9 steps to dodge. With the help of the Divine Essence Trap Array, he was basically unharmed. As for Lin Dongqing and the others, they were far away and were even less affected. After the aftermath of Chow Mang's self-destruction passed, Lin Dongqing sneered at Night Sorrow and said, "This Chow Mang originally had a grudge with me, but I didn't expect to trap you here. You did me a big favor. Quickly hand over the divine weapon you just used. I can spare your life." "Lin Dongqing, don't say such nonsense in front of me. Isn't your horn very powerful? Come attack me and try it." Night Sorrow looked at Lin Dongqing and the others fearlessly. At the same time, he took out the ancient coffin and let it float in front of him. The moment the dark aura appeared, Lin Dongqing and the others looked askance. Lin Dongqing asked the horn's weapon spirit, "What is that ancient coffin in front of us? Why is its aura so terrifying?" "I'm not sure, but its grade shouldn't be inferior to mine," the horn's weapon spirit replied and continued. "Although it's not inferior to mine, he might not be able to control it. We'll strike first and gain the upper hand." "Alright. Let's kill him directly." After the horn's weapon spirit finished speaking, Lin Dongqing activated the horn and controlled it to shoot out a dark ray of light. It shot toward Night Sorrow. This was a true half-step paramount state attack. Chapter 3247. The attack of a half-step to the paramount realm is indeed very strong. Facing Du Jiao's attack, Night Sorrow placed the ancient coffin in front of him, preparing to block this attack. According to his judgment, the ancient coffin could withstand an attack of this level. Therefore, he didn't take it seriously. He was prepared to block it for a while, and take the opportunity to break through the encirclement and escape. After all, he could withstand the attack of a half-step to the paramount realm, but some of the cultivators Lin Dongqing brought couldn't. But at this moment, Little Five suddenly transmitted a voice transmission. "Put away the ancient coffin. Dolua Continent Comic / Let us block this move." "Oh, you guys finished combining so quickly? Didn't you say you needed 20 breaths?" Night Sorrow asked doubtfully. At the same time, he released the completed Eternal Divine Tower. At this moment, the Eternal Divine Tower had already completed 5/9 of the combination. Hearing Night Sorrow's question, Little Five replied, "We didn't expect that after not seeing each other for so many years, the fusion would still be so smooth. Watch us block his attack." As he spoke, the eternal divine tower flew in front of Night Sorrow. It forcibly blocked Du Jiao's attack. Is that so? The power is not bad, right? All along, the eternal divine tower had been a bystander by Night Sorrow's side. At this moment, it could finally play a big role in the battle. Little Seven asked proudly. He had a feeling of exultation and elation. Little Seven, what's there to be proud of? Have you forgotten what kind of existence we were at our peak? Little Eight said disdainfully when he heard Little Seven's bragging. At its peak, the Eternal Divine Tower was the first paramount realm divine artifact in the Eternal Supreme Realm. However, it had declined for too many years now. In fact, many people didn't even know of its existence. Hearing this, Night Sorrow smiled and said, "Don't worry, one day, I will let you guys regain your glory." After confirming that the Eternal Divine Tower could block Du Jiao's attack, he wasn't in a hurry to escape, because Lin Dongqing and his subordinates shouldn't be able to hurt him at all. This night demon really has a lot of good things in his hands. Today we must kill him at all costs. Seeing Night Sorrow use the Eternal Divine Tower to block Du Jiao's attack, Lin Dongqing roared with envy. Yes, we will do our best to cooperate. Everyone who had been blown away by the shockwave received the order, and immediately surrounded Night Sorrow again. Of course, this was because Night Sorrow did not use the 9 defiant steps to escape. Otherwise, they would not have been able to stop him. Attack. Seeing that Night Sorrow was the leader, Lin Dongqing immediately ordered. At the same time, he let the horn float above his head, allowing it to recover its vitality. Du Jiao had attacked too many times recently, and had consumed too much energy. He needed several dozen breaths of time to recover. While recovering, Ikaku reminded them, the night demon's 2 divine artifacts don't have any active attacking aura. You should be able to defeat them. Good. We will try our best to use melee attacks. Lin Dongqing replied to Night Sorrow. Then he ordered everyone to use melee attacks and surround Night Sorrow. He knew that using those fancy techniques would not have any effect on the ancient coffin and the eternal divine tower. It was better to use melee attacks directly. He did not continue to use the horn. He wants to use melee attacks to deal with me. Seeing the horn floating above Lin Dongqing's head, he did not continue to attack. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said, Little Five, can you guys prepare an attack? If you can muster up a half step to the paramount realm attack, I want to directly kill Lin Dongqing. We can, but it will take time. After Little Five replied, he analyzed and added, It will take about 30 breaths. Can you hold on? 30 breaths. Should be enough. If it doesn't work, I can still use the ancient coffin or fight while retreating. After Night Sorrow finished speaking to Little Five, he activated the Trayastrimsa battle mystic technique and the destruction of heaven and earth. He also activated the Blue Phoenix battle armor. Apart from the power of good karma, he raised all his stats to the maximum. He started to fight with Lin Dongqing and the other students of the same batch. Lin Dongqing's strength was not bad. He had just become a middle heavenly supreme, but he already had the strength of an upper heavenly supreme. He was not easy to deal with. Under his lead, everyone quickly suppressed Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow used the 100 words mantra and the defiant 9 steps to deal with him. He was fighting while retreating, mainly relying on his defense to buy time. After persisting like this for about 20 breaths of time, Night Sorrow asked, Little Five, how are your preparations? It's about the same as expected. Another 10 breaths will be enough. Little Five knew that Night Sorrow could not hold on any longer, so he replied without hesitation. Another 10 breaths. Let's end these 10 breaths with the attack. Everyone, including Little Five, thought that Night Sorrow would continue to use his speed to buy time. At this moment, Night Sorrow went against the flow. He chose to use the mysterious Azure Divine Spear technique, and took the initiative to attack one of the middle heavenly sovereigns. Oh no! He was hiding his strength. Be careful! Seeing Night Sorrow's sudden attack, Lin Dongqing shouted a warning. At the same time, he used a long frost sword in his hand to stab at Night Sorrow's dantian. He wanted to use it to save Night Sorrow's dantian. However, when the tip of the sword pierced through Night Sorrow's body, Lin Dongqing suddenly realized that what he had stabbed was only an afterimage left in the void. Night Sorrow's golden heavenly halberd had directly pierced through the dantian of one of the cultivators. After being crippled by the spear, the cultivator immediately let out an unwilling cry. "Brother Lin, save me, save me." I didn't expect that at this moment, the divine talisman refined by the Dragon Sparrow King would work. I wonder how Dragon Sparrow and Phoenix are doing now. Before the attack, Night Sorrow, who had used the Dragon Sparrow King's divine talisman, was slightly emotional. The Dragon Sparrow King's divine talisman had increased his speed by 3 times even though he was at his limit. Compared to some of the cultivators present, his movement technique was simply like a ghost. After that, other than Lin Dongqing, who used a secret technique to increase his speed, he could barely keep up with Night Sorrow's rhythm. The others could not find Night Sorrow's real body at all under such rapid attacks. In 10 breaths of time, Night Sorrow had killed 3 of Lin Dongqing's subordinates and severely injured 2. In the blink of an eye, the situation had completely reversed. "I've recovered. If we launch a sneak attack at close range, he shouldn't be able to react. As long as the ancient coffin or ancient pagoda doesn't move, I'm confident that I can kill him directly." However, at this moment, the horn floating above Lin Dongqing's head suddenly transmitted a message to him. It indicated that it had recovered and could attack at any time. "Good. Very good. We'll immediately look for an opportunity. I didn't expect this night demon to have such strength. If we let him continue to develop, the consequences would be unimaginable. Today we must kill him." Lin Dongqing heard the voice transmission from the horn and said word by word. Chapter 3248. Don't worry. No matter how strong the divine artifact is, he's still a child with a treasured sword. It's easy to catch his weakness. The horn's artifact spirit replied to Lin Dongqing and began to search for Night Sorrow's weakness. Lin Dongqing, on the other hand, burned his bloodline power and consumed a pill that temporarily increased his strength and speed. He began to fight against Night Sorrow. During the battle, he realized that although Night Sorrow was only a half-step Sky Supreme, he was not weaker than him in any aspect. This made him question the one-horned child's words. "Be careful. That horn seems to have recovered." After Night Sorrow killed another one of Lin Dongqing's subordinates, the restriction-breaking hammer suddenly reminded him. They could feel that the horn had recovered and was preparing to attack. "I know. After a while, I'll purposely reveal a weakness and let the horn attack. Then use the ancient coffin to block it. As for the eternal divine tower, it will directly attack Lin Dongqing and kill him." Night Sorrow transmitted his voice to the restriction-breaking hammer and asked, "Little Five, how much longer do you need?" "5 breaths. Little Five answered without hesitation. The answer was very precise. "Okay. I'll reveal a weakness in 5 breaths and let the horn attack. You guys calculate the time," Night Sorrow said and continued to fight against Lin Dongqing. With the help of the Dragon Sparrow Divine Talisman, his speed was extremely fast. Lin Dongqing could barely keep up. At this time, Night Sorrow sent a dozen more talisman combinations to slow down Lin Dongqing's speed. For a moment, Lin Dongqing's movements became abnormally slow. In this state, Night Sorrow naturally had no problem dragging on for 5 breaths. Once the 5 breaths were up, Night Sorrow immediately used the Divine Essence Trap Array and the Divine Spear on Lin Dongqing. He had exposed himself to the horn. "Good chance. I'm going to attack." Seeing that Night Sorrow had completely exposed himself to him, the horn's artifact spirit transmitted his voice to Lin Dongqing and directly attacked Night Sorrow. "You're going to die. Looks like our battle can't be carried out normally." Meanwhile, Lin Dongqing was looking at Yi Shan with a grim smile on his face. In his eyes, Night Sorrow was already a dead man. "You're half right. One of us is going to die, so the battle can't proceed as planned." Looking at the wildly laughing Lin Dongqing, Night Sorrow immediately took out the ancient coffin to block Du Jiao's attack. As for the Eternal Divine Tower, it launched a vicious attack at Lin Dongqing at close range. This attack was a genuine attack from someone who was half a step to the limitless realm. Lin Dongqing, who did not have a half-step Supreme Stage defensive divine artifact, was immediately reduced to ashes. Even the horn that was blocked by the ancient coffin once again was blasted to smithereens. It was as if he was about to drop out of the half-step supreme realm. Amazing! I didn't expect you to be able to kill Lin Dongqing and the others. Dancing Lady, who was watching the battle in Night Sorrow's space, immediately praised when she saw that Night Sorrow had completed his counterattack. Today's victory was due to luck. If not for our good luck and obtaining the 6th level of the Eternal Divine Tower, we would have been forced to flee. Night Sorrow said humbly, then continued. Now that we have 2 Sovereign Heaven Origin pills, why don't we find a place to consume them first and then come out to fight for them? This way we have a better chance. What do you think? Hearing this, Su Lei, who was recovering, said, I'm still recovering. You and Dancing Lady should consume them first. If you can become a heavenly sovereign here, I believe you can definitely defeat everyone. In my opinion, it won't be as easy for you to become a heavenly sovereign. 1 Sovereign Heaven Origin pill is definitely not enough. You should consume both of them. Whirling Woman said slowly. In her opinion, a half-step heavenly sovereign like Night Sorrow could fight against an upper heavenly sovereign. If he wanted to advance, it would definitely be many times more difficult than ordinary cultivators. 1 Sovereign Heaven Origin pill was definitely not enough. I'll try consuming one first. After Dancing Lady finished speaking, Night Sorrow found a quiet place and set up a concealment array. He then summoned Dancing Lady to be on guard. He then took out 1 Sovereign Heaven Origin pill and consumed it. How do you feel? Is there no effect at all? After Night Sorrow consumed the Sovereign Heaven Origin pill, he did not have any reaction after about 10 breaths. Dancing Lady asked doubtfully. It's effective. But according to my judgment, if I want to become a heavenly sovereign directly, I need at least 10 of these Sovereign Heaven Origin pills. Night Sorrow said, then took out another Sovereign Heaven Origin pill and handed it to Dancing Lady. He said, you should consume this one first. This is our best choice. Alright. Your body is really a bottomless pit. But it's okay, we'll continue to search in the ancient ruins. Dancing Lady was not a conflicted person. She took the Sovereign Heaven Origin pill and consumed it immediately. Not long after, her aura began to grow rapidly. Finally, she successfully became an upper heavenly sovereign. After successfully passing the tribulation, Dancing Lady looked at Night Sorrow and said, although I have become an upper heavenly sovereign, there is a limit to my strength. I still need time to strengthen. You have reached the realm. You can slowly polish it or absorb resources to improve it. Night Sorrow used the sea serpent's eye to observe Dancing Lady, then said, no matter what, you are already 1 step ahead of most people. The level of upper heavenly sovereign is not something that ordinary people can reach. Yes. Above upper heavenly sovereign, there are only half-step to supreme realm and supreme realm. You are already an expert among experts. Su Lei congratulated Lady Hassa. Now that she was only a lower heavenly sovereign, she was very envious of Dancing Lady. Thank you for taking care of me. In the future, we will continue to work together and break through to half-step to supreme realm and supreme realm together. Dancing Lady said in a good mood. After becoming an upper heavenly sovereign, there were not many cultivators in the world who were higher than her. No matter what, she was very happy. Alright. Let's break through to the realm you mentioned. Night Sorrow looked at Dancing Lady and found that she did not have the aptitude to break through to supreme realm, but he did not say anything to undermine her confidence. Then he said to Su Lei, the next Sovereign Heaven Origin pill that we find will be given to you. You can consume it directly, or like Dancing Lady, you can consume it after you become a middle heavenly sovereign. I did not do anything. I am not qualified to get the Sovereign Heaven Origin pill so early. If you get it, you can consume it. When you have successfully advanced, it will not be too late for me to take it. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Su Lei shook her head and objected. Alright. Let's talk about it after we get it. Night Sorrow saw Su Lei's objection and did not say anything more. Then he brought the 2 ladies into the Eternal Divine Tower to recover. When they had almost recovered, Little Five suddenly sent a message to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow, can you give us the horn? Oh, what do you need the horn for? Night Sorrow asked curiously. Chapter 3249. Encountering Jialin. Yes. The horn is very useful to us. After Xiaowu answered, he explained, although we have recovered to the level of a half-step to the Supreme Realm Divine Artifact, if we want to continuously attack at the level of a half-step to the Supreme Realm, we need a lot of resources. If we have this horn, we can attack many times at the level of a half-step to the Supreme Realm in the future. I see. Then take it out. When Knight Sorrow heard Xiaowu's words, he did not hesitate and threw the horn out for them to absorb. Don't you think it's a pity that a half-step to the Supreme Realm Divine Artifact is being absorbed like a resource? Seeing Yi Shang throw the horn away, Dancing Woman felt that it was a waste of God's gift. Sacrificing a horn is equivalent to gaining the protection of a half-step to the Supreme Realm Expert. In this way, we will have the ability to survive in the ancient ruins. It's quite suitable. Knight Sorrow analyzed, then said, however, if I get another half-step to the Supreme Realm Divine Artifact in the future, I will leave it to you and Su Lei. That's not what I meant. Every half-step to the Supreme Realm Divine Artifact is extremely precious. I can't take it. Hearing Knight Sorrow's words, Dancing Lady was a little embarrassed. It's okay. We are friends and have good things to share. Knight Sorrow said indifferently. He really did not care much about divine artifacts. At this time, Su Lei asked, now that we have recovered, should we go out? It's good to go out now. However, on the list provided by Elder Su, there are 3 people worth paying attention to. I think the 3 of them are probably from the middle of the courtyard. Their methods should be very powerful, so we have to be careful. After leaving the Eternal Divine Tower, Knight Sorrow looked at the list provided by Elder Su again. He found that the 3 of them were probably from the middle of the courtyard that Dancing Lady had mentioned. He felt that he should pay special attention to them. He reminded the 2 of them to be careful, but he was still very interested in them. After all, the 3 of them could be suitable targets for possession. Fairy Lin Menghe Qingxian. These 3 are all upper heavenly sovereigns and have never lost in a battle of the same level. They are probably from the middle of the courtyard. If we encounter them, we have to be careful. Dancing Woman took the list from Elder Su and said in agreement after reading it. Even Lin Dongqing was able to take out a half-step to the Supreme Realm Divine Artifact. Who knew what the geniuses of the central courtyard would be able to take out? The 3 of them had to be on guard. Why is there a sea in front of us? As soon as Dancing Woman finished speaking, Su Lei pointed to the front in confusion. Following her finger, Knight Sorrow looked with the sea serpent's eye and saw a boundless sea. What's going on? We didn't see any ocean just now. Knight Sorrow said doubtfully. Whirling Woman frowned and said, are we in an illusion again? That should be the case. It seems like there are illusions in the ancient ruins too. Su Lei said with a frown. She felt that the ocean in front of her made her very uncomfortable, and her expression immediately became very bad. Su Lei, are you all right? Knight Sorrow turned his head to look at Su Lei. Seeing that her complexion was very pale, he asked with concern. I don't know either. I can't seem to stand steadily in front of this ocean. It's like he's being suppressed by something. Su Lei said in detail. At this moment, Knight Sorrow looked at Whirling Woman and said, Whirling Woman, do you have that feeling? No, I don't. Whirling Woman shook her head and denied it. While she used her eye technique to look at the ocean, she did not see anything. There's a huge black shadow in the ocean. It must have come with ill intentions. Everyone be careful. Knight Sorrow, who had opened the sea serpent's eye and looked at the ocean, found a huge black shadow in the ocean. It seemed to have scales, and its body was very long. It looked a little like a dragon, but it was not. You can actually see me. Your eye technique is not bad. Your eyes are mine now. As soon as Knight Sorrow finished speaking, a huge wave rose in the ocean. On top of the wave stood a slim female cultivator. How arrogant. After the female cultivator finished speaking, Whirling Woman ridiculed her. However, she soon discovered that the other party was an upper heavenly supreme, and her aura was very powerful. At this moment, Knight Sorrow put Su Lei, who was feeling even more uncomfortable, into the space cave. Then he looked at the female cultivator in front of him and said, You are the black shadow in the ocean, right? I told you your eye technique is very powerful. Hearing this, the black-robed female cultivator smiled and said, Dig out your eyeballs and give them to me, and I will let you live. How arrogant. Before Night Sorrow could speak, Whirling Woman sneered and said, Come on. Let's see if you can get the eyeballs, or we can get the leather belt. You dare to provoke me, Jialin repeatedly? Do you think you are so great just because you are an upper heavenly supreme? Jialin, who had been scolded by Whirling Woman, looked at her coldly and waved his hand to hit her. You are stronger than me, but you are not qualified to defeat me with one hit. Originally, Yi Shang had wanted to help, but Lady Whirling Sua had used the secret art of the vertical eye. She really caught it. I didn't expect a native like you to have some talent. After being blocked by Whirling Woman, Jialin said expressionlessly before smiling and saying, That vertical eye of yours is not bad either. It's also mine. With your eyeballs, this trip to the ancient site. Don't talk nonsense, you can talk about it after you defeat us. If I am not wrong, you are the Fairy Lin that others have been talking about, right? Night Sorrow looked at Jialin, and as he spoke, he started to use the Treastrimsa battle technique and the art of destruction. He also held the golden heavenly halberd in his hand and prepared for battle. At this moment, Su Lei, who was in the space paradise, reminded him, Jialin is the same as you, Jia. They are both legendary existences. Although she is not a pureblood Jialin, her bloodline talent is much stronger than mine. She should be very strong. You have to be careful. Okay. I will be careful. Night Sorrow replied as he continued to look at Jialin, waiting for her to make the first move. At this moment, Jialin laughed and said, Fairy Lin? I don't like that name. I prefer to be called the Scaled Witch. Soon you will know why. As soon as she finished speaking, she shot out thousands of black scales at Night Sorrow and Whirling Woman. Every scale shone with powerful runes. When she got close to Night Sorrow and Whirling Woman, these scales would shoot out extremely powerful attacks. In an instant, Night Sorrow and Whirling Woman were having a hard time resisting. As expected of someone from the middle court, you are indeed very strong. Jialin's attack was between an upper heavenly supreme and a half-step to the extreme realm. It was very strong. Night Sorrow could resist it, but Whirling Woman was having a hard time. Yi Shang exclaimed in admiration. Then he put Dancing Woman into his space grotto heaven and fought Jialin alone. Chapter 3250. I didn't expect that even though I've become an upper heavenly supreme, I still can't hold my own in Lu Tian Academy. Dancing Lady, who had been summoned into the space cave, looked at Su Lei and said unwillingly. Hearing this, Su Lei comforted her. Don't worry. You've just become an upper heavenly supreme, so you're naturally weaker than Jialin. Slowly accumulate, and you may not lose to him in the future. Look, I'm suppressed by his bloodline, but I don't feel despair. If I follow Night Sorrow, I may be able to catch up. But this makes me very uneasy. I don't know what to do. Dancing Lady sighed. She wasn't willing to submit, but her future would be limited if she relied on herself. At this moment, Su Lei persuaded her. Your ability is limited. It may not be a bad choice to rely on the strong. I've already chosen to submit to him. I hope you can also consider it. Let me think about it. Dancing Lady replied. Then watched the battle between Night Sorrow and Jialin. At this moment, Night Sorrow was slightly at a disadvantage in his battle with Jialin, but his defense was impenetrable, and he wasn't injured. After fighting for a few breaths, Jialin said with interest, I thought you were only an Earth Supreme, but I didn't expect you to be so strong as well. You're really a talent. How about this? I'll give you a chance to submit. As long as you submit to me and cooperate with me in exploring the ancient ruins, I won't gouge out your eyes. Sorry. I'm used to being idle, and I'm not under much control. But there's a solution to this. Night Sorrow looked at Jialin, who was panting, and smiled. Why don't you submit to me, and I'll naturally bring you to explore the ancient ruins and find opportunities. Bastard. I'm giving you face, but you don't want it. Who do you think you are? How dare you talk to me like this? Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Jialin was immediately furious. Then who do you think you are? Talking to me like this? Night Sorrow replied coldly. I'm someone who can kill you. Jialin, who was already enraged, roared and once again used his scales to attack Yi Sorrow. This time, after the scales flew out, they all turned into beetles and scaled insects. Tens of thousands of beetles and scaled worms appeared and immediately attacked Night Sorrow. This must be Jielin's bloodline ability. Night Sorrow frowned when he saw the thousands of beetles and scaled insects charging at him. He then cast the secret word of truth to slow them down. At the same time, he shot out his Inferno Devil-subduing spear and used the flames in the sky to burn everything. When the flames in the sky had some effect, he used Soft Dragon Roar, bombarding the beetles and scaled insects in the sky. After suffering 2 consecutive attacks, almost half of the beetles and scaled insects that Jielin had summoned had died. However, the remaining ones became even crazier under Jielin's control. Although Night Sorrow did not have a hard time dealing with the beetles and scaled worms that filled the sky and attacked him, his god's domain was not damaged. But soon he discovered that Jielin had summoned another batch of beetles and scaled insects. So it can continue to summon. No wonder it couldn't stop my attack just now. Night Sorrow immediately understood what was going on when he noticed that Jielin had once again summoned a large number of beetles and scaled insects. He attacked these things again. After killing 3 or 4 batches, Night Sorrow discovered that Jielin's presence had not decreased at all. He completely understood that Jielin's bloodline ability could summon these things endlessly to exhaust the opponent. He immediately sent a message to Little Five. Little Five, after absorbing the power of the horn, did you manage to form a half-step paramount realm attack? According to Night Sorrow's judgment, Jielin clearly still had energy left. It would be very difficult to kill him. Yes. But the energy absorbed is only enough for 1 attack. According to my judgment, Jielin should also have a half-step paramount realm divine artifact. 1 attack might not be able to kill him. Little Five quickly reported to Night Sorrow. I know. She must have something to rely on for her to be so arrogant. But since the battle has started, we cannot be the ones to retreat. Even if we can't kill her in 1 attack, we must injure her severely. Night Sorrow said and then said murderously, Get ready, we will teach her a lesson she will remember. Don't worry, we can use this attack at any time. As Little Five replied, she was already prepared to attack. Very good. When I create the Divine Essence Trap Array, I will summon you. Once you are summoned, attack immediately. At this moment, Night Sorrow, who was still killing beetles and scale bugs, used the Sea Serpent's Eye to observe Jielin's movements and lock onto his true body. Then he suddenly created the Divine Essence Trap Array. After the Eternal Divine Tower was summoned, it immediately attacked the trapped Jielin with a half-step paramount realm attack. The attack contained a heaven-shaking, earth-shattering power. What? It's an attack from a half-step paramount realm divine artifact. Jielin, who was originally full of confidence and using beetles and scale bugs to devour Night Sorrow, was shocked. In a situation where she could not dodge, she immediately took out her half-step paramount realm divine artifact, the Heaven-Suppressing Lock. She used it to block the Eternal Divine Tower's attack. Although the Heaven-Suppressing Lock was a half-step paramount realm divine artifact, in a hurry, it naturally did not have the ability to block the Eternal Divine Tower's full attack. Jielin was directly sent flying. The beetles and scaled insects that Jielin had summoned all vanished into thin air. Oh. Hit by a half-step paramount realm attack, and not seriously injured. This strength is indeed not to be underestimated. Night Sorrow, who was observing the other party with the Sea Serpent's Eye, discovered that Jielin was completely unharmed after being hit and was stunned. From this attack he determined that this Jielin's strength was already infinitely close to half-step paramount realm, and was not easy to deal with. Bastard! How dare you use a half-step paramount realm divine artifact to attack me? Do you think that only you have a half-step paramount realm divine artifact? After being blasted far away, Jielin, who was once again suspended in the void, her expression became completely gloomy. Her previous ease was gone, replaced by thick killing intent. She sized up Night Sorrow and did not say anything. She directly summoned the slightly damaged Heaven-Suppressing Lock and smashed it at Night Sorrow. She probably doesn't know how to use the divine artifact in front of her. In other words, she did not completely make it recognize her as its master, and we have a chance to snatch it. Seeing that Jialin actually smashed the heaven-suppressing lock over, Little Seven immediately spoke. Oh, this half-step paramount realm divine artifact can be snatched by force? Facing the heaven-suppressing lock, Knight Sorrow did not panic. As he asked, he took out the ancient coffin from the space. He used the ancient coffin to block this attack. Because if he used the Eternal Divine Tower to block this attack, the Eternal Divine Tower would definitely be damaged. And ever since the ancient coffin appeared, it had never broken through its defenses. Using a broken coffin to block my heaven-suppressing lock? You're dead meat. Jialin, who saw Knight Sorrow summon the ancient coffin, had a look of disdain. Chapter 3251. Knowledge is a good thing. It's a pity you don't have it. Knight Sorrow did not move in the face of Jialin's provocation. At the same time, Jialin's heaven-suppressing lock hit the coffin's defensive layer. After being hit by the heaven-suppressing lock, the coffin's defensive layer was immediately damaged. However, in the end, the heaven-suppressing lock did not completely break through the coffin's defense. What kind of treasure is this? Its defense is so strong. Seeing that the heaven-suppressing lock's full power attack could not even break through the coffin's defense, Jialin was shocked. He looked at Knight Sorrow in a completely different way, because the heaven-suppressing lock was her strongest divine weapon. Other than that, it could not unleash a stronger attack. For a moment, Jialin was already stunned by the coffin. He could not think of any attack that could hurt it. At this moment, Knight Sorrow was also shocked. He did not expect Jialin's heaven-suppressing lock to be able to damage the coffin's defensive layer to this extent. He thought to himself, I did not expect Jialin's divine weapon to be so powerful. I wonder if the coffin can withstand a few more attacks before it collapses. No. According to our senses, the coffin's damage this time should not be because of Jialin's divine weapon. It is because the coffin is about to be born. At this moment, the male hammer of the restriction-breaking hammer said to Knight Sorrow through telepathy. What? Are you sure? Hearing this, Knight Sorrow was immediately puzzled. This was not a small matter. It could not be underestimated. After all, the last time he saw the coffin, the one that came out was from the heaven-deceiving tribe. Who knew what would come out from the coffin in front of them? We can't be 100% sure. However, what we said has a high probability of becoming reality. The male hammer said confidently. He and the female hammer could see some changes in the runes around the coffin. I don't know if this is a blessing or a curse. After the male hammer finished speaking, Knight Sorrow immediately started to worry. If there was a cultivator like the heaven-deceiving tribe inside, it would not be easy to deal with. Knight Sorrow. Jialin has escaped. Just as Knight Sorrow and the restriction-breaking hammer were communicating, Sule suddenly transmitted his voice. Escaped? Then let her escape. Let's continue searching for the Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill. Since Jialin wants the eye technique so badly, it must be that the eye technique will play a big role in this. Knight Sorrow had no intention of chasing after Jialin. After saying a few words to the two girls, he looked into the distance. After Jialin disappeared, the ocean in front of them also disappeared. Instead, it was replaced by scattered swamps. Knight Sorrow used the sea serpent's eye to observe for a while, and discovered that there were many sky supremes in the swamp. Thus he asked, Xiaowu, do you still have any use for the heavenly sovereign ferocious beasts that you've collected? Hearing this question, Little Five smiled and said, Now that we have the horn to absorb, we don't need to absorb the energy of these ferocious beasts. Good. Let's cross the swamp in front of us, and continue to look for opportunities. According to the records, this should only be the entrance to the ancient site. There is still a lot of space inside. Knight Sorrow said and led everyone into the swamp. As soon as he entered, he was attacked by an intermediate heavenly sovereign dragon crocodile. After dealing with it, he proudly continued forward. Seeing that the dragon crocodile was killed, many of the ferocious beasts in the swamp calmed down a little. Although their killing intent continued to spread, not many of them dared to approach. I wonder where Chow Mang got the Sovereign Heaven Origin Pill. Dancing Lady, who had just recovered, said after Knight Sorrow crossed the swamp and walked into a rocky mountain in front of them. She used her eye technique to look around, but she didn't see the Sovereign Heaven origin pill at all. Night Sorrow thought for a while and said, according to the information given by Elder Sue, the Sovereign Heaven origin pill should be scattered around the ancient site. We can't find it now, so it should be that someone else has already found it. If we continue to go deeper, we should be able to find something with our eye technique. I hope so. Dancing Lady agreed when she thought of Jialin, who was preparing to snatch the eye technique. There are half-ultimate realm ferocious beasts in the rocky mountain below. At this moment, Night Sorrow, who was flying in the air, suddenly transmitted his voice to the two ladies. Originally, he was flying quite leisurely, thinking that even if he encountered an upper heavenly sovereign, he wouldn't be much of a threat. Now, however, he was trembling with fear. In the rocky mountain directly below them, there was a dragon lizard half a step into the limitless realm. The dragon lizard was absorbing the essence of the sun and moon, obviously cultivating. Let's go around it. It's best not to disturb it. Dancing Lady said immediately when she saw that the dragon lizard was indeed half-ultimate realm with her eye technique. Of course, there's no need to get into a conflict with it, Yishang said. Then he led Dancing Woman and Su Lei away from Dragon Lizard, who was half a step away from the Supreme Realm. However, they didn't go far before they encountered another half-ultimate realm ferocious beast in a vast mountain. This time they encountered a tall white ape. When Night Sorrow and the rest saw the white ape from afar, it was hunting for prey. Under its attack, the upper heavenly sovereign ferocious beasts couldn't fight back at all. It killed them with just one punch. What powerful strength. This time, we still have to go around it. Dancing Lady said immediately when she saw that the half-ultimate realm white ape was so fierce. It's not difficult to go around it, but looking at the situation, there are many half-ultimate realm ferocious beasts in this ancient site. With Jialin and the rest, the danger of this trip is far beyond our imagination. Although Night Sorrow said that it was dangerous, he was actually excited. He knew that the more dangerous a place was, the more opportunities there would be. As long as he could advance to Heavenly Sovereign here, some of the dangers in front of him could be easily resolved. Oh no! I realized that the white ape's gaze is not right. Right at this moment, Swaying Woman suddenly reminded Night Sorrow. Is that so? When Night Sorrow heard this, he turned to look at the white ape, and saw that it was indeed looking in his direction. He suddenly felt as if he was being stared at by an ancient ferocious beast. He transmitted his voice to Dancing Lady. Enter my space hollow. This time, we might have to run for our lives. The Eternal Divine Tower had yet to prepare its next attack, and the ancient coffin's defensive layer had begun to weaken. Night Sorrow didn't want to fight with a half-ultimate realm ferocious beast. When he realized that the white ape was staring at them, he immediately increased his speed, and continued to fly deeper into the ancient site. Oh whoa. Just as Night Sorrow increased his speed, the white ape was enraged. As if enraged, White Ape immediately leaped and chased after Night Sorrow. Why is this fellow suddenly targeting us? When the white ape started to chase, Night Sorrow immediately activated the Treastrimsa Battle Mystic technique, and the destruction of heaven and earth. He used the 9 defiant steps and quickly fled deeper into the ancient site. Chapter 3252. Facing the white ape, Night Sorrow did not use the word formula, or the divine essence trapping array. He knew that against a beast half a step to the supreme level, these would not have any effect at all. After chasing for a while, and failing to catch up with Night Sorrow, the white ape went completely berserk. Its whole body emitted a thick red mist, and its aura increased greatly in an instant. Its speed also increased. In a moment, the distance between them was shortened. Oh no! After the white ape accelerated, its speed is not inferior to mine. It will be difficult for us to shake it off. We have to think of a way. Night Sorrow, who noticed that the white ape's speed had obviously increased after going berserk, frowned and said. At the same time, he kept thinking of countermeasures in his mind. His first thought was to lure the white ape to the dragon lizard, who was also half a step to the supreme level, and let them fight. But after thinking about it, he realized that it was not possible. So he looked ahead. At this moment, in front of Night Sorrow and the others was an extremely primitive and continuous mountain range. There were many beasts hidden in the mountain range. Night Sorrow even saw 2 cultivators, but he did not see any beast half a step to the supreme level. So there was no chance of a third party benefiting from the fight between the sandpiper and the clam. He did not hesitate and continued to move forward. After flying over the mountain range, Night Sorrow and Dancing Lady saw at the same time that there was an open area in front of them. In the open area, there was a huge chessboard. This chessboard was refined by someone with black meteoric iron, and it was obviously a magic artifact. It was blocking the only way. When they flew over the chessboard, Night Sorrow immediately felt a huge pulling force, and he was instantly pulled into the chessboard. The white ape, who had been chasing him, was pulled when it got close to the chessboard. It exploded and struggled to break free. It did not even look back and fled into the distance. I did not expect to get rid of the white ape so easily. But how do we get past this chessboard? Night Sorrow, who was pulled into the chessboard, quickly realized that they had entered a chaotic world. On the chessboard, the chess piece closest to them instantly turned into a huge white ape and attacked. This white ape's strength is only at the level of a middle heavenly sovereign. It can't be the same one. After scanning it with the sea serpent's eye, Night Sorrow discovered that although the white ape in front of him looked the same as the one from before, it was much weaker. With these words, he began to use the 33 Heavens arcane combat art, revolving it to destroy the heavens and extinguish the earth. However, as soon as Armageddon was activated, Night Sorrow suffered a backlash and spat out a mouthful of blood. Not good. I shouldn't be able to use Armageddon continuously. I've been using it too frequently. Night Sorrow, who was vomiting blood, immediately understood what had happened. At this time, seeing Night Sorrow vomit blood, the whirling woman in the space said, "Let me out, let me fight against the white ape in front of me. I've almost recovered too. Let me go out and fight too." Su Lei, who had rested for a long time, also said, "Then I'll have to rely on you guys for the time being." Night Sorrow's current state was indeed not suitable for battle. He immediately summoned the 2 girls. He let them fight against the white ape that the chess piece had transformed into. Night Sorrow, enter the Eternal Divine Tower to recover. After Night Sorrow summoned the whirling woman and Su Lei, Little Seven immediately transmitted a message to Night Sorrow. "Good. I didn't expect the backlash of Armageddon to be so serious." After Night Sorrow said that, he entered the Eternal 10 times space to absorb energy and recover. He didn't even have the energy to watch the battle between the whirling woman and Su Lei. After Night Sorrow consumed the elixir and absorbed the energy of the Eternal Divine Tower to recover, Little Seven said, "In my opinion, that Mia is not a good person. It's better not to use his ultimate skill in the future. I don't know if it's because this Mia's ultimate skill is incomplete, or if I've used it too frequently. This side effect is too harmful to the body. It seems that I can't use it casually in the future, unless it's time to fight for my life." Feeling the damage in his body, Night Sorrow replied laboriously. He could feel that after he used Armageddon consecutively, the blood in his body seemed to be boiling and would burn other parts of his body, causing him to feel a stinging pain. Moreover, his body couldn't gather any power. "You might as well give up completely. When we help you advance to Heavenly Supreme, you won't need so many tricks to face the experts of the foggy area or the heaven-deceiving alien tribe. With your strength, you should be able to stand firm." Little Seven comforted him. "I don't know if I'll form any karma in the future after cultivating Mia's ultimate skill." Night Sorrow, who was in the midst of recovery, continued to analyze. The 3 Supremes in the foggy area had always been his imaginary enemies, and he would definitely face them in the future. He was about to advance to Heavenly Supreme, and he couldn't help but worry about the future. "Don't worry with your luck, can't you suppress such a small matter?" Little Seven continued to comfort him. "Yes. No matter if Mia deliberately left this ultimate skill for me, or if it's like this, when we meet in the future, I will defeat him." Night Sorrow, who suspected that Mia deliberately left this ultimate skill behind, said with certainty. After straightening out his thoughts, he began to recover normally. After about 20 hours, his body had completely recovered in the Eternal Divine Tower. At this time, Dancing Lady and Sule had just joined forces and killed the white ape that the chess piece had transformed into. After fighting for 2 hours, the two women had consumed a lot of energy, and it was obvious that they were tired. "Thank you for your hard work." Night Sorrow, who walked out of the Eternal Divine Tower, saw that the two women had consumed a lot of energy and immediately said, "Be careful. Fighting here consumes 10 times more energy than usual. If not, we wouldn't be in such a sorry state." At this time Sule, who was panting unevenly, explained. Hearing this, Night Sorrow nodded and said, "I know. This chessboard is definitely not simple. Quickly enter the Eternal Divine Tower to recover, and leave the rest to me." "That's the only way." Sule responded and flew into the Eternal Divine Tower. Dancing Lady glanced at Night Sorrow and said, "This expectation is very unusual. You have to be careful." "Yes, I will." Night Sorrow replied, and then shrank the Eternal Divine Tower and carried it at his waist. He continued to move forward. Before he could walk 100 miles, he encountered another chess piece. This chess piece was even more special. It actually transformed into the appearance of Sikong Chuyu in front of Night Sorrow. Chuyu. Although Night Sorrow's mind was calm, and he was not controlled by the chessboard, he had not seen Sikong Chuyu's appearance for many years, and after seeing it, he felt a little emotional. "Night Sorrow, be careful." Just when Night Sorrow was slightly absent-minded, Little Seven suddenly reminded him, because the chess piece that had transformed into the appearance of Sikong Chuyu had already launched an attack on Night Sorrow. And this attack was very fierce, going straight for Night Sorrow's dantian. If he was hit, he would definitely be crippled. Chapter 3253. Chuyu, don't worry. I will solve this problem as soon as possible and return to meet you. Night Sorrow, who had regained his senses, looked at the chess piece that looked like Sikong Chuyu and said slowly. Then he held the golden heavenly halberd in his hand. He swung out an attack to block the opponent's sneak attack. "Husband, we haven't seen each other for a long time. You actually want to kill me? Then don't blame me for being heartless." The chess piece that looked like Sikong Chuyu was blocked. She immediately released an endless murderous aura. She attacked Night Sorrow again. Her attack was very similar to the ultimate technique that Sikong Chuyu had used before. In a trance, Night Sorrow seemed to have returned to the time when they first met and fought with the Purple Gold Beast King. Zai. In the blink of an eye, it was already a matter of millions of years ago. Looking at the chess piece that looked like Sikong Chuyu, Night Sorrow sighed and used the golden heavenly halberd to shoot out the divine spear. After dodging her attack with the 9 defiant steps, he used the divine spear to pierce her dantian. "Husband, you have fallen into my trap." However, at this moment, the chess piece that looked like Sikong Chuyu revealed a sly smile. She took out a hand knife and stabbed at Night Sorrow's chest. Her dantian was pierced, but she was not like a cultivator who was directly crippled. Seeing the chess piece that looked like Sikong Chuyu stabbing at him with a hand knife, Night Sorrow immediately reacted. His opponent was a chess piece that was different from a cultivator. It was very likely that she did not have a dantian. Fortunately, his body was strong enough. After being stabbed by the hand knife, his body was not penetrated. That was close. As Yishang rejoiced, he suddenly struck out a palm at Sikong Chuyu, who had transformed into a chess piece. As the two of them were very close, the chess piece that looked like Sikong Chuyu did not have a chance to dodge at all, and was hit by the attack. After sending him flying, Night Sorrow could be considered to have succeeded in 2 moves. Being hit by 1 move wasn't a loss. Furthermore, the Sikong Chuyu that the chess piece had transformed into suddenly became somewhat illusory after it was sent flying. It was very likely that his energy had decreased. At this moment, Little Seven transmitted his voice. "Night Sorrow, can you restrain him? We want to absorb such a chess piece." "Oh, what do you need this chess piece for?" Night Sorrow asked as he attacked. This chess piece wasn't at the half-step paramount realm. Logically speaking, it wouldn't be of much use to the Eternal Divine Tower. Little Seven replied. "It's like this. The few of us saw that this chess piece was different from a cultivator, so we wanted to study her energy composition." "All right. I'll capture him." After Yi Shang responded, he once again attacked Sikong Chiyu, who was transformed from a chess piece. Under his suppression, the chess piece didn't resist for long before it was absorbed into the Eternal Divine Tower. Not long after the chess piece was absorbed, Little Seven transmitted his voice. Night Sorrow. It's indeed similar to what we thought. This chess piece is formed from extremely pure energy. It's like the energy body of the Thunder Calamity. Now we've successfully converted it into energy. Although this energy won't be of much help for you to become a Heavenly Supreme, it can help Su Lei. Do you want to give the energy to her and let her absorb it? Give it to her. She has completely surrendered to us. Night Sorrow didn't hesitate and told Su Lei about this matter. Then, he let her absorb the energy that the chess piece had turned into. After absorbing this energy, she was only one step away from becoming a Middle Heavenly Supreme. Feeling the changes in the energy in her body, Su Lei said gratefully, Night Sorrow, thank you. We're friends, you're welcome. Night Sorrow, who no longer hid his name from Su Lei, replied. He looked into the distance and said, Now, what we need to do is to leave this chessboard. However, the white ape, who is half a step to the Supreme Realm, immediately fled when it saw this chessboard. This proves that it's definitely not simple. The two of you rest in the Eternal Divine Tower for the time being. I'll explore the way. Thank you for your hard work. We'll try to recover as soon as possible. Dancing Lady glanced at Night Sorrow and continued to recover in the Eternal Divine Tower. Su Lei began to advance towards becoming a Middle Heavenly Supreme. She hoped to successfully break through and then consume the Supreme Heavenly Origin Pill. Like Dancing Lady, she would directly break through to become an Upper Heavenly Supreme. Recently, she hadn't been able to help much and felt that her confidence had taken a hit. When I observed this chessboard from the void, it didn't look very big. But after entering it, it became as big as the world. Night Sorrow, who had opened the Sea Serpent's Eye and walked on the chessboard for 2 days without encountering a single cultivator or chess piece, looked forward. Hearing this, Dancing Lady comforted him. Logically speaking, the chessboard is square. If we keep walking, we should reach the end. Don't worry. I hope so. Night Sorrow replied and continued to walk forward. After another 2 days, Night Sorrow suddenly stopped because he saw 3 white chess pieces in front of him. After he saw the chess pieces clearly, these chess pieces began to change. They turned into the appearances of Wu Lingfei, Yi Shaluo, and Yi Lingtian. The 3 of them were the ones whose dantian had been shattered by Night Sorrow when he ascended to the divine world. Seeing their figures, Night Sorrow felt a little sad for a moment. But soon, he recovered and looked at the 3 chess pieces who had turned into relatives and said, It's useless for you to use this kind of method. Do it, let's see the real deal. Haha. I can clearly see the heartache in your eyes. How dare you say it's useless? The chess piece who had turned into Wu Lingfei said sharply and attacked Night Sorrow with an ice element attack. The ice phoenix she shot out looked a little similar to Wu Lingfei after her transformation. But if one looked closely, one would find that she didn't have the charm of a true phoenix at all. Freeze. Ice. Seal. Seeing the chess piece who had turned into Wu Lingfei and imitated her attack, Night Sorrow didn't hesitate to use the 100 words mantra. Then he stabbed her with the golden heavenly halberd. The light from the golden heavenly halberd immediately shattered the ice phoenix that the other party had turned into. At this time, the chess pieces who had turned into Yi Shaluo and Yi Lingtian also attacked Night Sorrow one after another. Seeing these pawns imitating his family, Yi Shang was completely enraged. He roared, If you dare imitate my family again, I'll destroy your broken chessboard. Then he used the destruction of heaven and earth again, and attacked the 3 chess pieces crazily. Soon, they were completely defeated. After the Eternal Divine Tower absorbed the 3 chess pieces and turned them into energy, Su Lei absorbed them. Su Lei immediately broke through the bottleneck, and entered the level of a Middle Heavenly Supreme. Seeing the thunderclouds above the chessboard, Night Sorrow released Su Lei from the Eternal Divine Tower and said, Go through the tribulation here. Pasua and I will protect you. Okay. Thank you. Su Lei slowly rose into the void and prepared to welcome the arrival of the tribulation lightning. However, at this moment, Yishang suddenly noticed a familiar figure flying towards them at high speed. Chapter 3254. This figure was none other than Jialin, who had fought with Night Sorrow. Seeing Jialin's figure flying towards them, Night Sorrow shouted, "Jialin, what are you doing?" "I'm running for my life. Don't stop me." At this moment, Jialin was flying madly towards them as he shouted. It was obvious that he wanted to rush over. Night Sorrow opened the sea serpent's eye and observed for a while. He realized that there were indeed 2 male cultivators chasing after Jialin. He said, "You can go over, but don't interfere with my friend's tribulation." "I don't have time for that," Jialin said angrily and prepared to fly over Night Sorrow and the others. At this moment, one of the male cultivators chasing after Jialin shouted coldly, "Help us stop Jialin and we'll give you a huge reward. Otherwise you'll be in for it." "A threat?" Hearing this, Night Sorrow said angrily, "Sorry, we don't have that ability." Then he let Jialin fly over them. Although he had fought with Jialin before, he did not want to take advantage of others, and was even more unwilling to submit to someone who threatened him. "Bastard, how dare you not help? Meng-He, go after Jialin first. I'll kill these 3 ants and catch up later." After the 2 male cultivators flew closer, one of them said something and struck out a palm towards Su Lei, who was in the middle of transcending the tribulation. "Ha! Your murderous nature is still as strong as before. Hurry up. Otherwise, I might not be able to subdue Jialin alone." Meng-He turned around and said. Then he looked at Night Sorrow and the others and smiled sympathetically. "It's your fortune to be able to enter Lu Tian Academy. But it's your misfortune to meet the killer Zhu Qingxian." Then he continued to chase after Jialin. "It's your misfortune to meet us." As Night Sorrow replied to Meng-He, he took out the Eternal Divine Tower and used it to block Zhu Qingshuan's attack. Meng-He and Zhu Qingxian were the same as Jialin. They were both from the middle school and were very difficult opponents. Facing them, Night Sorrow would naturally not be careless. Boom! When Meng-He's palm hit the Eternal Divine Tower, a loud sound immediately rang out in the void. This loud sound caused Su Lei to vomit blood. Bastard! What a vicious mind! Night Sorrow, who had determined that Zhu Qingxian was deliberately making such sounds to disturb Su Lei's tribulation, was instantly enraged. At this moment, Zhu Qingxian had a gloomy smile on his face as he said, "I thought that other than the 3 of us, no one else has a half-step to the ultimate state divine artifact. Looks like I'm in luck today. Give it to me." After roaring, he reached out to grab the Eternal Divine Tower. "Come back." Night Sorrow, who was well aware that the Eternal Divine Tower wasn't charging up an attack, immediately withdrew it. He activated the 33 Heavens Battle Secret Technique and activated the Azure Phoenix Battle Armor. With the Golden Heavenly Halberd in hand, he unleashed the Azure Profound Divine Spear Art at Zhu Qingxian. "How dare you show off your insignificant skills?" Seeing Night Sorrow fight back, Zhu Qingxian showed a disdainful smile. Facing the attack of the Golden Heavenly Halberd, he sneered and struck out with his palm. He wanted to smash the Golden Heavenly Halberd into pieces. What a powerful attack! Let's see how powerful you can be. The Golden Heavenly Halberd was a top divine artifact at the level of a heavenly sovereign. However, after Zhu Qingxian struck out with his palm, Night Sorrow immediately felt the Golden Heavenly Halberd tremble. He knew that if Zhu Qingshuan's palm hit the Golden Heavenly Halberd, it would definitely be severely damaged. Actually, thinking about it, when Zhu Qingshuan's palm hit the Eternal Divine Tower, he wasn't injured at all. This was enough to prove his strength. Hence, when the 2 of them were about to collide, Night Sorrow suddenly kept the Golden Heavenly Halberd and took out the Ancient Coffin. He then used the Ancient Coffin to smash Zhu Qingshuan's palm. Boom! This time, there was another explosion in the void. However, this time, Dancing Lady was already by Su Lei's side, so the aftershocks of the 2 of them didn't disturb her. "Thank you." Su Lei sent a message to Dancing Lady. After thanking her, he continued to go through the tribulation. At this moment, Zhu Qingshuan's powerful palm was shattered as it hit the Ancient Coffin. As for the Ancient Coffin's defensive layer, it was once again shattered. The Ancient Coffin was about to lose its defensive layer. How can this be? How can this be? Zhu Qingxian immediately let out a hoarse roar when his left hand, which he relied on for survival, was shattered. He said in disbelief. What is this coffin? What is it? Could it be an ultimate divine weapon? It's something that you don't have the right to use. Night Sorrow didn't reply curiously. He once again waved the golden heavenly halberd at Zhu Qingxian. Zhu Qingxian, who had lost his left hand, was like a toothless tiger. Facing Night Sorrow's Qingxian godly spear technique, he didn't dare to fight. He took out the Rui Bell, a half-step ultimate divine weapon, and flew in the direction where Jielin had escaped. Night Sorrow's attack hit the Rui Bell's defensive layer, but it didn't break through. He knew that he didn't have the ability to keep Zhu Qingxian here, so he gave up chasing him. Zhu Qingxian, who had flown far away, gritted his teeth and said, Lowly ant, we'll meet inside. When my palm recovers, I'll be the first to cut off your head. This is the second time you've spoken nonsense today. Night Sorrow, who had given up chasing Zhu Qingxian, replied coldly. Zhu Qingxuan's strongest weapon was his left hand. The coffin on his body could easily be used to block it. Therefore, he wasn't afraid of him. However, when he thought of the strength of Zhu Qingxian, Meng He, and Jielin, he was still a little afraid. He thought that it wouldn't be a problem to deal with one of them, but if the three of them joined forces, it would be troublesome. I've succeeded in passing the tribulation. Thank you, guardians. While Night Sorrow was thinking about how to deal with the three of them, Sule had succeeded in passing the tribulation and slowly floated down from the sky. Sule, who had advanced to a middle heavenly sovereign, had a much thicker aura on his body. Obviously, his strength had increased. Night Sorrow immediately retracted his thoughts and said with a smile, Congratulations, you're one step closer to Whirling Sua. Hee. Both of us have gained something. It's up to you now. Whirling Sua looked at Night Sorrow and said, like Sule, she sincerely hoped that Night Sorrow could advance to a heavenly sovereign. I hope I can get more sovereign heaven origin pills. I have a strong desire to become a heavenly sovereign. Night Sorrow said expectantly. After coming to the foggy area, he had been fighting against many heavenly sovereigns as an earthly sovereign. Now when Zhu Qingxian, Meng He, Jielin, and the others appeared, he gradually started to struggle. He needed to use the Eternal Divine Tower and the coffin to fight against these geniuses. He wanted to quickly break through to a heavenly sovereign and rely on his own strength to fight against them. At this time, Sule asked, What should we do next? Hearing this, Night Sorrow thought for a while and said, Jielin must have explored this place before us and knows something. The direction she went should be the safest. Let's follow them. Let's see if we can leave the chessboard in front of us. Chapter 3255. Yes, this seems dangerous, but it's relatively safe. It's a good choice. After Yishang finished speaking, Swaying Woman said in agreement. Then she and Sule followed behind Night Sorrow and headed in the direction where Zhu Qingxian, Meng He, Jielin, and the others were heading. After following the three of them for 2 hours, they did not encounter any chess pieces. They confirmed that Night Sorrow's judgment was correct. However, as they went deeper, the illusion around them became worse and worse. The dark fog became thicker and thicker. In the end, they could not even see the chessboard if they did not use the eye of the sea serpent. Although there were no chess pieces, they walked very slowly. After walking for a while, Sule said, Jielin wants to use the fog to get rid of Zhu Qingxian and Meng He, but we can't be sure if going forward is the way out of the chessboard. Should we continue to follow? If we go back the way we came, there should be a way out of the chessboard. Jielin has entered and left the chessboard. But if we leave from there, it's equivalent to leaving the ancient site. Yishang analyzed the situation and said, After all, our goal is to find the supreme primary pill and other resources. There's no turning back now. That's true. Then let's continue. Sule nodded and said. She still wanted the supreme heaven energy pill very much. At this time, Night Sorrow said to Dancing Lady, Dancing Lady, using eye techniques in this fog consumes a lot of energy. Let's take turns to lead the way. I think we should be able to find the way forward. Okay. You just fought. Recover first. I'll lead the way. After Dancing Lady finished speaking, she used her eye to look for the way. Night Sorrow and Sule followed side by side behind her. In the fog, they could be attacked at any time. The three of them were very alert and prepared to attack at any time. At this time, in such a thick fog, they could no longer keep up with the three people in front of them. They did not know where Zhu Qingxian, Meng He, Jialin and the others had gone. They could only follow their own feelings and continue forward. In the fog, they walked for 3 days and 3 nights. Night Sorrow and Dancing Lady exchanged more than 10 times, but they still did not walk out of the chessboard. The 4th day, Whirling Woman was leading the way. Suddenly, she stopped and transmitted her voice. "Watch out! I saw Jialin. She's right in front of us, and seems to be fighting with something. Let me see." Upon hearing this, Night Sorrow immediately activated the Sea Serpent's Eye and looked ahead. Immediately, he saw Jialin fighting with a middle-aged male cultivator. Both sides fought back and forth. Jialin was in a passive position, but he didn't show any signs of being defeated. As for Zhu Qingxian and Meng He, they did not appear. What should we do? Should we sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight, or should we attack directly? Dancing Woman, who was watching, asked Night Sorrow. "There's no hurry. Let's wait and see." Yi Shan, who was watching the battle, said this before continuing to watch the battle between the two. At that moment, he could not tell if the middle-aged cultivator before him was a chess piece or a real cultivator. Under the attention of Night Sorrow and Dancing Woman, the middle-aged male cultivator began to gradually expand his advantage. However, in a passive situation, Jialin suddenly took out her half-step Paramount Realm Divine artifact, the Heaven-Suppressing Lock. Taking advantage of the middle-aged male cultivator's carelessness, he directly used the Heaven-Suppressing Lock to severely injure him, instantly reversing the situation. In the end, he successfully killed him. After Jialin killed the male cultivator, Night Sorrow discovered that the male cultivator was indeed a chess piece as he had guessed. He thought to himself, "It seems that we still can't completely eliminate the danger at this point. You've been watching for so long. Why don't you show yourself?" Just as Night Sorrow was pondering, Jialin suddenly looked in his direction. "Do you want to fight? We'll accompany you," Jialin shouted, and Whirling Woman immediately responded. "It's you guys." Jialin muttered softly and said, "I want to cooperate with the three of you. What do you think?" "How do you want to cooperate?" Dancing Woman asked after asking for Night Sorrow's opinion. "You guys will be my eyes and I'll be in charge of the battle. We'll split the things we obtain 50-50. Jialin thought for a moment and said slowly, "You're just one person and you want 50%? Isn't that a bit too much? We're not willing to cooperate with you." Dancing Woman heard that Jialin wanted to split the loot 50-50 and immediately rejected him. "I have a map of the entire ancient ruins. If you cooperate with me, you'll have a great advantage. If it weren't for your eye techniques, I wouldn't even be bothered to talk to you," Jialin said unhappily when he heard Swaying Woman's words. "So you have a map of the ancient ruins. No wonder you can move around freely in this chessboard." Night Sorrow heard the map and said, "If you want to cooperate, we can talk about it." "How much do you want?" Jialin asked directly. She knew that the map she had was extremely valuable. Night Sorrow and the others had no reason to refuse. "You alone and the three of us. You take 40% and we each take 20%. This way it's fairer." Night Sorrow thought for a moment and replied. He had fought with Jialin before. He was already being polite by offering such a price. Hearing this number, Jialin pondered for a moment and said, "It's not impossible to split it 40-60, but I have a condition." "What condition?" Dancing Woman frowned. "My condition is that you have to help me kill Zhu Qingxian and Meng He. I have an irreconcilable feud with them," Jialin said coldly. "If we meet them on the way, we will help you fight them. But whether we can kill them depends on the situation." Hearing this condition, Yi Shang agreed without hesitation. Zhu Qingxian, Meng He and Jialin were all the same. Their characters were average. But they did not have a real map of the ancient ruins. They needed to temporarily turn hostility into friendship with Jialin. Seeing that Night Sorrow had agreed, Jialin said, "If that's the case, let's make a heavenly oath." She knew that Night Sorrow was not easy to deal with. It was basically impossible to get his eye technique. She could only settle for the next best thing. All right. Let's make a heavenly oath. Night Sorrow led Dancing Woman and Su Lei to Jielin's side and made a heavenly oath. Very good. After Night Sorrow and the others had made their oaths, Jielin said, remember the horizontal and horizontal markings on the ground. We need to walk 12 vertical and 7 horizontal markings to reach the exit of the chessboard. It's time to fight with the chess saint. As long as we kill the chess saint, we can get the chessboard under our feet and leave this place. This is the first great opportunity in the ancient ruins. The first great opportunity? How many great opportunities are there in the ancient ruins? Night Sorrow asked immediately after hearing Jielin's words. Chapter 3256. Although we are in a cooperative relationship, I can't tell you how many opportunities there are. I can only say that there is definitely more than one. Jielin glanced at Night Sorrow, but did not answer the question directly. All right. Let's explore slowly. Night Sorrow felt that Jielin's words were understandable, so he did not continue. At this moment, Jielin said, the map in my hand came from Vice Dean Ji Xian. The maps in Zhu Qingxian and Meng He's hands came from the other 2 vice deans. When we find the chess saint and fight him, we must end the battle quickly. We must get rid of the chess saint before they arrive. According to what you said, the chess saint can find him just by following the map. Then why does he need our eye sorcery? Night Sorrow asked as they moved towards the chess saint's location. Of course you have your uses. The chess saint's speed is very fast. It is difficult for me to catch him in the fog. Jielin explained and said, if I have the help of your eye sorcery to lock onto the chess saint, I will have a chance of winning. Although I know some eye sorcery, it is not my forte. At this moment, Night Sorrow glanced at Jielin and asked, do Zhu Qingxian and Meng He know eye sorcery? Their eye sorcery is stronger than mine. But compared to the 2 of you, it is not worth mentioning at all. Jielin did not hide the truth and answered directly. All right. Since we have more or less understood the situation, I will lead the way. Follow me closely. After Jielin finished speaking, Dancing Woman said something and sped up. With Dancing Lady leading the way, Su Lei said softly, can you explain the chess saint situation in detail? After all, if you know your enemy, you will win 100 battles. But we do not understand him at all. Oh, I was just about to talk about this. Jielin replied and said, the chess saint is actually the weapon spirit bred by this chessboard. He has the cultivation of half a step to the supreme realm. His body is made of chess pieces. In battle, he can split into 108 chess pieces. He is not easy to deal with. A single chess piece is already so strong. If he really turns into 108 chess pieces, how are we going to deal with him? Su Lei frowned and asked as he recalled the scene of Night Sorrow fighting with the chess pieces. Yes. If he turns into 108 chess pieces, with our strength, I'm afraid it won't be easy to deal with him, right? Night Sorrow had personally fought the chess pieces before, so he naturally knew the combat strength of the chess pieces and their ghostly abilities. Don't worry. We are not afraid that he will split, but that he will not split. Jielin said confidently. Yeah. If he splits into 108 chess pieces, you can use your bloodline absolute art. At this moment, Night Sorrow remembered that Jielin could summon beetles and scaled worms without limit and agreed. That's right. I'm not afraid of consumption. I'm afraid that our attacks are not strong enough to break through the chess saint's defense. Jielin nodded. After that, she transmitted her voice to Night Sorrow. During the battle, the 2 of them shouldn't be of much use. I hope you can do your best. Since I've agreed to work with you for the time being, I'll do my best. But I hope you won't hold back. Night Sorrow heard Jielin's transmission and immediately replied. Of course. Jielin replied and did not say anything else. She followed behind Dancing Lady with peace of mind. Under Dancing Lady's lead, the 4 of them arrived at the forbidden area of the chess saint in less than half a day. Standing at the entrance of the forbidden area, Jielin looked at Night Sorrow and said, do you and your friends know how to set up formations? To prevent Zhu Qingxian and Meng He's sneak attack, we'd better set up a defensive formation at the entrance. I know a little. As Night Sorrow replied, he immediately took out the materials and set up the 5 bulls formation. He knew that Zhu Qingxian and Meng He were not simple people. An ordinary illusory formation would not have any effect on them. Very good. This formation of yours doesn't seem to be simple, Jielin said as he started to set up the array formation. Night Sorrow used the eye of the sea serpent to observe and found that the formation set up by Jielin was also extraordinary. It did not seem to be inferior to the 5 bulls formation at all. However, after looking at it once, he did not learn it because the formation was too complicated. Alright. I'll go first, you guys follow me. The name of the chess saint sounds like an otherworldly expert, but in fact he is extremely violent. You guys have to be careful, Jielin said and took the lead to enter the forbidden area of the chess saint. After Night Sorrow entered with Dancing Lady and Su Lei, they immediately found that there was a thick fog in front of them. In such an environment, even Night Sorrow could not see clearly what was in the deepest part of the fog. How is it? How far can you see with your eye techniques? After standing still, Jielin looked at Night Sorrow and Dancing Lady and asked. I can see everything within 100 feet. Beyond that, I can't see clearly at all. Dancing Lady did not hide anything and told them the distance that she could see clearly. Night Sorrow used the eye of the sea serpent to look and said, about 10,000 feet. You can see 10,000 feet, very good. When the battle starts, you will be in charge of commanding, and we will cooperate with you. When fighting against the chess saint, we are all like blind men, and Dancing Lady is no exception. When Jielin heard that Night Sorrow could see 10,000 feet, he immediately became excited. After saying that, he released a murderous aura and said, there is only the chess saint here, we don't need to worry about anything else. Let's go. Where is the chess saint roughly? After Jielin finished speaking, he did not move forward. Night Sorrow asked. He could appear anywhere in this space. As for where exactly he is, you need to find out, Jielin said telepathically. Alright. Then you guys follow me closely. We will walk around the forbidden area and see if we can lure him out. After saying that, Night Sorrow took the lead and walked in front. However, he had been controlling his speed to avoid leaving the 3 of them too far behind. After the 4 of them walked for about 10 breaths in the forbidden area, Jielin suddenly said telepathically, everyone be careful. I can feel that we are being watched. The chess saint should be observing us. He should be making a move soon. Yes. I can feel it too. Su Lei, you are not good at eye sorcery, don't be too far away from me when we fight. Night Sorrow, who could also feel the chess saint's aura, knew that the battle was about to start and raised Su Lei's level. After all, among the 4 of them, Su Lei was the weakest. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Su Lei immediately replied, I will be careful. They are coming. Just as Su Lei finished speaking, Night Sorrow saw hundreds of black and white chess pieces flying over from afar. He immediately reminded them, the chess saint fights in a split state. Everyone be careful. Is that so? That's great. Hearing this, Jielin immediately transformed into his original form. He began to summon beetles and scale bugs. Chapter 3257. A bunch of ants dares to have designs on me? All of you die. Just as Jielin transformed into his original form, the chess saint's ferocious voice was heard. Following the voice were a total of 108 black and white chess pieces. These chess pieces exuded an aura similar to those that Night Sorrow had fought. After flying in front of the 4 of them, they all transformed into cultivators. There were about the same number of male cultivators and female cultivators. A total of 108 middle and upper heavenly sovereigns. Everyone, get ready to fight. The 108 chess pieces that had transformed into cultivators attacked them. Night Sorrow reported their positions and asked everyone to pay attention. He began to use the secret art of the Treyastrimsa battle technique, striking the chess pieces continuously. He wanted to reduce their speed. Although Jielin was summoning beetles and scale bugs without limit, this summoning required time. He needed the 3 of them to hold them back. When Night Sorrow used the true word technique, Su Lei transformed into Yujia and spat out scorching flames at the incoming aura. As for Dancing Lady, She summoned the 1,000 illusion eyes and used the 3,000 black holes to attack continuously. After Su Lei and the swaying woman had used their large area of effect attack techniques, Night Sorrow stood alone at the front, blocking the first cultivator that rushed over. At the same time he urged, "Jialin, hurry up. We can't hold on for long." "Don't worry, although I need time to summon beetles and scale bugs. But the heaven-suppressing lock will help you fight." As he spoke, Jialin summoned the heaven-suppressing lock, which was half a step to the supreme realm. He let it attack the chess saint, who had transformed into hundreds of cultivators. He actually has a half step to the supreme realm divine artifact. Disperse. Seeing Jialin use the heaven-suppressing lock, the chess saint immediately controlled his 108 doppelgangers to disperse and avoid the attack. However, the heaven-suppressing lock's attack covered a large area. Although the chess saint controlled his doppelgangers to escape quickly, 5 or 6 of them were still hit by the heaven-suppressing lock. When these doppelgangers were hit by the heaven-suppressing lock, they immediately turned into nothingness and disappeared into the void. "Damn it! You hurt my vital energy. You will all be tortured to death." The chess saint roared furiously after losing several of his clones right from the start. Then the remaining 100 or so chess pieces became even more ferocious and attacked Night Sorrow and the others. "Not good. We can't withstand this kind of attack. You two, hide behind me. I also need to use a half-step Supreme Class Divine Artifact." Dozens of crazed heavenly sovereigns rushed over. Night Sorrow immediately called Su Lei and Dancing Lady behind him. Then he took out the Eternal Divine Tower and threw it out. Although the Eternal Divine Tower that Night Sorrow had summoned did not explode with an attack, it was still a half-step to the Supreme Class Divine Artifact after all. Its hardness was also very impressive. After being smashed, the cultivators at the front were instantly smashed into a puff of green smoke. "What? You actually have a half-step Supreme Stage Divine Artifact as well?" The chess saint exclaimed when he saw Night Sorrow toss out a half-step to the Supreme Artifact. At this moment, the beetles and scaled insects that Jialin had summoned had already swarmed towards the remaining chess pieces. "Looks like you guys came prepared." Seeing that Jialin had summoned countless beetles and scaled insects, the chess saint snorted and gathered all the scattered chess pieces together. He transformed into the appearance of a green-bearded Confucian scholar. "You transformed into your original form just like that. We haven't used much strength yet." Seeing that the chess saint had transformed into his original form and his aura had soared, Jialin immediately mocked him. "Die, Yinha. Suppress the deity." The chess saint, who was instantly enraged, immediately threw out a white chess piece and a black chess piece at Jialin. "Jialin, be careful. Front left, white chess piece 7,000 feet. Straight ahead, black chess piece, 7,500 feet. It's extremely fast. It's hard to see with the naked eye." Seeing that the chess saint was attacking Jialin, Night Sorrow, who was observing with the eye of the sea serpent, immediately warned. "Roger." Jialin, who had received the warning, immediately controlled the beetles and scaled insects in the sky to block in front of him. Although the white and black chess pieces that the chess saint had thrown out were extremely fast and powerful, after killing hundreds of beetles and scaled insects, their energy was depleted and they disappeared into the void. "You're an expert who is half a step to the Supreme Realm. Is this all you've got?" Jialin, who had blocked the white and black chess pieces, continued to mock him. "There's no need to deliberately draw hatred. Let's fight together." Knowing that Jialin was deliberately drawing hatred, so that the chess saint would continue to attack her, Night Sorrow immediately sent a telepathic message. "Other than the divine pagoda and ancient coffin in your hands, you have no way of blocking his attacks. You just have to be my eyes." After saying that, Jialin controlled thousands of beetles and scaled insects to pounce on the chess saint. In fact, her original form would not be able to withstand the chess saint's attacks either. However, she had a large number of beetles and scaled insects that she could use. She wanted to use them to slowly wear down the chess saint until he was almost exhausted before finally killing him. At this time, Night Sorrow shook his head and said, "You've underestimated the chess saint before you. I can feel that his aura is extremely powerful. It's not something that you can easily deal with alone. Oh, he's different from what I sensed? Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Jielin asked doubtfully. The chess saint that she sensed with her spiritual energy was not very powerful. He's at least 10 times stronger than what you sensed, and his intelligence is not simple either. If I'm not wrong, he split himself into 108 chess pieces, just now to test our strength. When he realized that we have 2 half-step to the Supreme Realm divine artifacts, he did not show any fear at all. This proves that we definitely have the power to fight. Night Sorrow said slowly. The aura of the chess saint that he sensed with his spiritual energy was different from that of the sea serpent's eye. Obviously, the chess saint had deliberately suppressed his own aura. Alright. Then let's fight together. However, if it's really as you say, I suggest that you summon Su Lei and the swaying girl into the space abode. They can't withstand a casual attack from the chess saint. It's useless to leave them outside. When Jielin heard Night Sorrow's words, he suddenly became alert and reminded him at the same time. Su Lei, currently you're the weakest. Enter my space abode. At this time, Night Sorrow summoned Su Lei into the space abode and handed the Eternal Divine Tower to the swaying girl. He said, Swaying, control the Eternal Divine Tower and stand side by side with us. Alright. The swaying girl said excitedly as she received the Eternal Divine Tower. She did not expect Night Sorrow to be so generous as to lend her a half-step to the Supreme Realm Divine Artifact. Distracted? Die. Yehe Tianch. At this time, the chess saint saw that the swaying girl's mind was disturbed. He immediately threw 2 black chess pieces at her. These 2 black chess pieces were faster than any attack that Night Sorrow had ever seen before. He did not even have time to warn the swaying girl. In a hurry, he took out the ancient coffin and blocked in front of her. Chapter 3258. Is this a coffin-shaped artifact? Is he carrying it around with him? The chess saint, who was about to launch a sneak attack on Hasa Lady, was stunned when he saw Night Sorrow take out an ancient coffin to block his attack. He had never seen anyone use a coffin as an artifact before. Therefore, he could not understand what was going on, but he still mocked him. Anyway, you don't deserve it. Night Sorrow retorted with disdain at the chess saint's mockery. Boom. Without waiting for the chess saint to speak again, he threw out 2 black chess pieces and bombarded the ancient coffin that Night Sorrow took out. After being bombarded by the 2 chess pieces, the outer defense layer of the ancient coffin faded a little more. However, the chess saint's attack was the same as the others. It did not completely penetrate the ancient coffin's defense. This coffin is something. It will be mine from now on. Noticing that the ancient coffin's defense was not even broken, and was able to block the attack of the II Divine Spirit, the chess saint sized it up with interest. He was prepared to take it for himself. Although you are going to die today, we are not prepared to use such a good ancient coffin for you. It is better for you to be reduced to ashes. Seeing that the chess saint was interested in the ancient coffin, Jielin mocked him and attacked with the heaven-suppressing lock. At the same time, he ignited his bloodline talent and raised his status to the strongest. After completely activating his bloodline power, Jielin's aura was close to that of a half-step to the Supreme Realm in an instant. At this moment, he sent a telepathic message to Night Sorrow and Hasa Lady saying, I can't stay at this level for long. Both of you use a half-step to the Supreme Realm artifact to attack the chess saint at the same time. Cooperate with the heaven-suppressing lock, and prevent him from paying attention to anything else. I will be responsible for killing him. You have the ability to kill him? Hearing this, Dancing Woman asked in confusion. You and him will be responsible for restraining him. Don't ask anything else. Jielin said and flew into the void. He only stopped when he was about to reach the clouds. At this moment, the chess saint had just dodged the attack of the heaven-suppressing lock. The chess saint did not dare to be careless against a half-step to the Supreme Realm artifact. Go. Seeing that the chess saint had dodged the attack of the heaven-suppressing lock, Night Sorrow did not hesitate and attacked with the ancient coffin. Alright. Seeing that Night Sorrow did not doubt Jielin's words, Hasa Woman immediately communicated with the Eternal Divine Tower, and asked it to cooperate with her to attack the chess saint. Without Night Sorrow's permission, the Eternal Divine Tower did not unleash the attack it had just been preparing. Instead, it grew larger and crashed into the chess saint. You barbarians, do you want to defeat all of us? After being bombarded consecutively, the chess saint was a little overwhelmed. After making a quick decision, he chose to avoid the ancient coffin and attacked the Eternal Divine Tower. When the chess pieces landed on the Eternal Divine Tower, they immediately sent it flying with a jolt. After temporarily repelling the Eternal Divine Tower, the chess saint looked coldly at the swaying woman. Then in a flash he attacked her. In the past, his attacks were basically all unleashed using the chess pieces. At this moment, his real body was moving. Faced with a half-step to the Supreme Realm Master, Dancing Woman suddenly felt her scalp go numb. He summoned the Tower of Eternity to defend himself. However, the Eternal Divine Tower had just been sent flying, so there was no way it could save him in time. Boom! At that moment, the Heaven Suppression Lock suddenly appeared and smashed onto the chess saint's floating body. Thank you. After the Heaven Suppression Lock smashed onto the chess saint's body, Knight Sorrow immediately sent a telepathic message to Jialin to express his gratitude. This was because when they were in the air, Jialin had passed the control of the Heaven Suppression Lock to Knight Sorrow. He was the one who had controlled the Heaven Suppression Lock to send the chess saint flying and save the swaying woman. You're welcome. After all, we are temporary allies. Both of you, retreat quickly. At that moment, Jialin suddenly sent a telepathic message to Knight Sorrow. Retreat quickly? Are you preparing to attack? Knight Sorrow asked. According to his understanding, Jialin should need a long time to prepare. Hearing this, Jialin replied, Yes. I won't be able to maintain this state for long. I must attack now. Both of you hide quickly. All right. I got it. Knight Sorrow replied. Then he sent a telepathic message to the swaying woman. Swaying, enter my space abode. All right. When the swaying woman heard Knight Sorrow's telepathic message, she did not hesitate and immediately entered the space abode. Knight Sorrow took back the ancient coffin and the Eternal Divine Tower. He used the 9 steps of the Defiant Heaven to distance himself from the chess saint. At the same time, he informed Jialin of the chess saint's location. No need. I have already locked onto him. He can't escape. Jialin, who was in the void, replied. Then he suddenly turned into a flaming dragon and flew down from the void. His speed was even faster than the chess saint's. The chess saint, who had wanted to chase after Knight Sorrow, frowned when he saw Jialin. A thick black mist bloomed on the spot. Surrounded by this black mist, the chess saint's aura increased by almost 10 times. He then shouted, King's Descent Chaos. In an instant, he turned into a huge chess piece and charged towards Jialin in the void. Good timing. Seeing that the chess saint was about to use his ultimate move, Jialin shouted and chose to meet force with force. Boom. When the two of them collided, the nearby void suddenly exploded. Knight Sorrow, who was using the 9 defiant steps to escape, was even blasted away. His body floated out uncontrollably. Isn't Jialin's attack too strong? The swaying woman, who was in the space abode, was shocked when she saw that the collision between Jialin and the chess saint had caused such a huge shockwave. Su Lei, who was beside her, was also shocked. This was because the strength of this attack had completely surpassed the level of an upper heavenly supreme. It was comparable to someone who was half a step to the supreme realm. The result of their collision is that both of them are injured. The two of you go out and take care of Jialin. I will kill the chess saint. After a while, Knight Sorrow stood up and observed for a while. He immediately realized that Jialin was severely injured. The chess saint was also on the verge of death. He immediately released Su Lei and the swaying woman. Don't worry about me. The 3 of you deal with him together. Don't give him a chance to breathe. At this moment, the extremely weak Jialin opened his mouth and roared. All right. Hang in there. After saying that, Su Lei transformed into Yujia and attacked the dying chess saint. The swaying woman did the same. She directly used the descent of all evil on the chess saint. As for the chess saint, after the collision with Jialin, he was severely injured. Facing the attacks of Su Lei and the swaying woman, he did not dodge at all and was continuously hit. Quick! Kill him quickly! There are people outside. At this moment, Jialin shouted anxiously. At this moment, the dying chess saint, who did not even have the strength to fight back, started to grow stronger. The aura of his body started to increase bit by bit. There are two people coming. It is very likely that they are Meng He and Zhu Qingxian. We really have to hurry. After Night Sorrow said this, he unleashed Armageddon, the godly spear. Chapter 3259. When Night Sorrow unleashed the divine shot, he sent a telepathic message to Xiaowu. Unleash the attack that you've been preparing. Be careful not to miss, this attack is the key. Don't worry. No one who has been targeted by the Eternal Divine Tower has been able to avoid the attack. Xiaowu replied and controlled the Eternal Divine Tower to attack the chess saint. When the Spear of God hit the chess saint's body, the attack that was launched after had arrived. Boom. The chess saint's body was severely injured. However, he was still not killed. Quick. I can't do anything. I can only rely on you. After we succeed, we have to escape quickly. Those two people are coming in. Meng He and Zhu Qingxian, who were outside, were very good at breaking formations. They used their secret treasures to break the formation set up by Jialin. She became even more anxious. After all, the few of them were no match for Meng He and Zhu Qingxian in this state. Even if they obtained the chess saint's chessboard, they had to leave quickly. The vitality of the chess saint is really terrifying. Night Sorrow replied to Jialin. He used the Treastrimsa battle mystic technique and the state of Armageddon and ignited the power of his bloodline. He used all his strength to unleash another attack on the chess saint. When the chess saint's aura was gradually recovering, he dealt another heavy blow. At the same time, the Eternal Divine Tower, under Xiaowu's control, continued to smash the chess saint. However, the chess saint did not die under such attacks. This made Jialin very anxious. She shouted at Night Sorrow, "Quick! Use your ancient coffin. With your own strength, you won't be able to kill him." Alright. That's the only way. Actually, even without Jialin's reminder, Night Sorrow had already thought of this. Without hesitation, he took out the ancient coffin and smashed it on the chess saint who was lying on the ground. After being smashed by the ancient coffin, the chess saint's recovered aura was suppressed again. After that, Night Sorrow used the ancient coffin to smash the chess saint twice. After the last hit, the chess saint was finally killed. After the chess saint was killed, the chessboard under their feet suddenly shook violently. Then, it soared into the sky and gradually turned into a green chessboard that was 1 foot long. This treasure is one of the best treasures in the half-step paramount realm. It was possible for him to advance to the Lamita stage. We must fight for it. Little Five said immediately after looking at the green chessboard floating in the air. It was a divine artifact. He could feel that the green chessboard was extraordinary. Let's escape first, and then discuss how to distribute the loot. At this time, Night Sorrow said and transmitted his voice to Jialin. Meng He and Zhu Qingxian will be able to break my formation very soon. If you trust me, enter my space grotto heaven, and I will take you away. I believe that you are not a treacherous person. After Jialin spoke, He Su Lei and the swaying woman entered Yishang's space grotto heaven. Night Sorrow kept the green chessboard and asked, Jialin, which way should we go? Let's go into the ancient ruins. There should be a Dead Sea in front of us. After passing through the Dead Sea, we will enter the location of the second great opportunity. Jialin replied weakly. Is there any danger in the Dead Sea? Night Sorrow continued to ask as he used the 9 steps of the defiant heavenly sword. Hearing this, Jialin replied, the deathly silent sea. Although it sounds like it's completely silent inside, it's actually quite dangerous. In reality, there are countless ferocious beasts inside. However, these ferocious beasts are all dead creatures. I understand now. The Dead Sea is full of evil spirits, right? Night Sorrow heard Jialin's words and immediately understood what was going on inside. Yes. There are many half-step paramount realm evil spirits inside. Most of these evil spirits were slain by the 3 Deans themselves, before their corpses were thrown into the silent ocean. Jialin explained. Hearing her say this, Yishang asked doubtfully, didn't the ancient site in front of us just appear? Why do you know so much? For many people in the college, this is the first time the ancient ruins appeared. However, for the three vice-deans, this is not the case. Jie Lin explained with a smile and then said seriously, "That's right. After the Chess Saint's forbidden land is broken, the fog will also disappear. We need to quickly escape into the Dead Sea. After entering the Dead Sea, it will be the same as being in the fog. We will need to use eye techniques to see the way. That way, we will be safe for the time being." "All right. I will try to be faster." After replying, Knight Sorrow increased his speed once more. However, this time after increasing his speed, he was immediately affected by the heaven and earth annihilation. He suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. "Knight Sorrow, what happened to you?" Seeing Knight Sorrow spit out blood, Sule immediately asked through telepathy. "I used the heaven and earth annihilation too frequently. I am suffering from the backlash. However, it is nothing serious. I can still hold on." Knight Sorrow replied to Sule, and ignored the pain caused by the backlash. He continued to fly quickly towards the Dead Sea. At this moment, Jie Lin said, "In your current state, you are not much stronger than me. Let the heaven-suppressing lock carry us. Although it is not as fast as you, it can give you a chance to recover." "Not for now. I will increase the distance between us." Knight Sorrow replied and did not say anything else. He focused on using the 9 defiant steps. In the process of rushing, he used the speed formula on himself to increase his speed. After flying for 2 hours, Knight Sorrow said, "We have all entered the Eternal Divine Tower. His speed should be faster than the heaven-suppressing lock." "All right." Hearing this, Jie Lin was silent for a moment, and then agreed. Knight Sorrow did not use the heaven-suppressing lock, which made her a little confused. However, after entering the Eternal Divine Tower, she realized that the speed of the Eternal Divine Tower was not something the heaven-suppressing lock could compare to. She relaxed her mind and recovered. At this moment, Meng He and Zhu Qingxian had completely broken the 5 bulls formation set up by Knight Sorrow. After breaking the formation and entering the Chess Saint's forbidden land, they saw everything in front of them. Meng He immediately said angrily, "Damn it! That bitch took the initiative. She should have gone in. If we hurry, we might be able to catch up." "Brother Meng, don't be so agitated. If she keeps going in, I will meet her sooner or later. As long as we kill her, the opportunity will still be ours." Zhu Qingxian said coldly when she saw that Meng He was furious. The way he spoke was like a venomous snake staring at a person. "What you said makes sense. However, I don't want her to be happy for too long. She must be rushing towards the Dead Sea now. Let's go after her," Meng He said with a face of displeasure. He and Zhu Qingxian had teamed up, but Jie Lin had gotten ahead of them. He could not accept this and his pride was hurt. Chapter 3260. Since you want to speed up, why don't you take out the Dragon Sky ship that Vice Dean Andrew gave you? You have to know that our speed is far inferior to Jie Lin's. If we don't rely on the Dragon Sky ship, it's impossible to catch up to her before entering the Dead Silent Sea. After Meng finished speaking, Zhu Qingxian suggested, "How do you know that Teacher Andrew gave me the Dragon Sky ship?" Hearing this, Meng immediately looked at Zhu Qingxian vigilantly. Zhu Qingxian smiled and said, "Hee hee. Don't you know that Teacher Nangong he bestowed the purple snow-glazed cup to me?" "All right." Meng frowned and took out the Dragon Sky ship that Zhu Qingxian mentioned. After the two of them stepped on it, Meng reminded, "Currently, I can't control the Dragon Sky ship well enough. I can't fully utilize its speed, and its stability is also average. Be careful not to fall. It's just a divine artifact. Do you need to personally control it?" Zhu Qingxian asked doubtfully. While Meng activated the Dragon Sky ship, he explained, "The Dragon Sky ship doesn't have an artifact spirit. It requires a cultivator to separate a wisp of their divine soul, to personally control it. The difficulty of controlling it is quite high." Then he brought Zhu Qingxian into the air and flew in the direction of the Dead Silent Sea. At this moment, Knight Sorrow and the others were flying in the Eternal Divine Tower. Compared to the Long Tianzhou, which was known for its speed, The Eternal Divine Tower definitely paled in comparison. After flying for about 2 hours, they were caught up by the Dragon Sky ship. Seeing the Eternal Divine Tower flying in front of him, Meng immediately asked in puzzlement, "A half-step Supreme Realm pagoda-shaped divine artifact. When did Jialin get it? Or is it that the person in the tower is not Jialin? Other than Jialin, no one else has such a deep map of the ancient ruins. Who else could it be?" Standing on the Dragon Sky ship and observing the Eternal Divine Tower, Zhu Qingxian said. At this moment, in the Eternal Divine Tower, seeing the two of them catch up, Jialin said in a deep voice, "Not good. They are riding on Vice Dean Andrew's Dragon Sky ship. Their speed is much faster than ours. If we don't reach the Dead Silent Sea, we definitely won't be able to shake them off. At our current speed, how long will it take to reach the Dead Silent Sea?" Swaying woman, who was also looking at Meng He and Zhu Qingxian, asked with a frown. "I just told the Night Demon that there's still about an hour left. If we fight now, we definitely won't be their match, and we can't beat them in terms of speed. The situation is rather grim." Jialin frowned as he looked at Meng He and Zhu Qingxian outside and asked, "However, if this Eternal Divine Tower is tough enough, we can hide inside and not go out. I'll definitely be able to withstand the attack of a Heavenly Supreme." However, Meng He and Zhu Qingxian have half a step into the Supreme Realm Divine Artifact just like you. If they use a half-step Paramount Divine Artifact to attack, then the Eternal Divine Tower definitely won't be able to withstand it. Yi Shang added, "Based on the current situation, our best choice is to accept the challenge. At the very least, this choice is better than passively taking a beating. But you and I are both injured, and the two of them aren't strong enough. Wanting to contend against Meng He and Zhu Qingxian is just a pipe dream," Jialin said with a frown. She was very clear about the strength of the two people outside. And she was also very clear about the combat strength of the four of them. Comparing the two, she felt that the situation before her had fallen into a dead end. Su Lei looked at Jialin and said, "If we fight, we may lose, but we may also win. It's better than sitting here and waiting for death." "I know, but we really don't have a chance of winning. I know the two people outside better than anyone else," Jialin said with some despair. At this moment, Night Sorrow said, "Now is not the time to despair. If the green chessboard is useful, or if we can take out 10 Sovereign Heaven Origin pills, we can turn the situation around." "You want to use 10 Sovereign Heaven Origin pills to become a Heavenly Supreme? That's a good idea, but I only have 3 on me. It's not enough." As Jialin spoke, he took out the 3 Sovereign Heaven Origin pills and handed them to Night Sorrow. "Try and see if you can use these 3 Sovereign Heaven Origin pills to become a Heavenly Supreme. I'll study the green chessboard. The biggest credit for us being able to obtain the green chessboard is yours. Take this green chessboard. As for the good stuff in the future, we'll get it first. You don't have any objections, right?" Night Sorrow said as he handed over the green chessboard. "We don't even know if there will be a future. What objections can I have?" Jialin, who took the green chessboard, said with a frown. After saying that, he started studying the green chessboard, trying to figure out how to use it. At this moment, outside the Eternal Divine Tower, Meng He and Zhu Qingxian had been shouting for a while, but Jialin did not appear. They had already started attacking the Eternal Divine Tower. Under Little Five's control, the Eternal Divine Tower dodged their attacks. When the two of them realized that Heavenly Supreme level attacks could not cause any damage to the Eternal Divine Tower, they each took out half a step to Supreme level Divine artifacts, and started bombarding the Eternal Divine Tower. Su Lei and Dancing Lady, who were in the Eternal Divine Tower, were anxious, but they could not help at all. With the help of tenfold speed, Jialin studied the green chessboard. At this moment, Night Sorrow sent a voice transmission to Little Seven. "I've taken 3 Sovereign Heaven Origin pills, but it shouldn't be enough to become a Heavenly Supreme. Can you guys completely absorb the horn and convert it into energy to help me become a Heavenly Supreme?" "We've been absorbing the horn's energy and have converted quite a bit, but it shouldn't be enough for you to become a Heavenly Supreme," Little Seven immediately replied. "Let's try first," Night Sorrow said and swallowed the 3 Sovereign Heaven Origin pills. The effect of the Sovereign Heaven Origin pills came very quickly, and he quickly absorbed them completely. According to Night Sorrow's judgment, if he had 4 or 5 more Sovereign Heaven Origin pills, he could become a Heavenly Supreme. But they did not have any. Therefore, he could only absorb the energy provided by the Eternal Divine Tower. But to quickly absorb the energy provided by the Eternal Divine Tower, he still needed about 2 Sovereign Heaven Origin pills. At this moment, Jialin suddenly asked, Night Demon, how much more do you need to become a Heavenly Supreme? I seem to have thought of a way. She had not figured out how to use the green chessboard at all, so she started thinking of other methods. 2 to 3 should be enough, Night Sorrow said after making a judgment. Just as he finished speaking, the Eternal Divine Tower was attacked fiercely. This attack was launched by Zhu Qingxian using the purple snow-glazed cup, a half-step divine artifact. It was extremely powerful. It almost destroyed the Eternal Divine Tower. Obviously, if the attack continued, the Eternal Divine Tower would not be able to withstand it. Under such circumstances, Jialin said, I have a way to solve the problem in front of us. This should be the only way for now. I can help you become a Heavenly Supreme, but you have to promise me one thing. Promise you what? Night Sorrow asked, puzzled. Chapter 3261. I need to consume my bloodline power to help you become a Heavenly Supreme. You will also obtain a portion of the Jia scale bloodline power. I want you to swear to the heavens that you will not use the Jia scale bloodline after leaving this ancient site. If you violate this oath, your soul will be destroyed. Jialin said with a solemn expression. Bloodline power was a taboo for anyone. If it wasn't a matter of life and death, she would never use her bloodline power to help Night Sorrow become a Heavenly Supreme. Hearing Jialin's words, Night Sorrow said in a deep voice, I swear that as long as you don't ask, I will not use the Jia scale bloodline. If I violate this oath, may the heavens and earth destroy me. Good. Without further ado, I will use the Jia scale bloodline to help you become a Heavenly Supreme. I hope that after you become a Heavenly Supreme, you can help us through this difficult time. Jialin said and looked at Night Sorrow. This concerns the secret of the Jia scale family. I hope that the 2 of them can leave. Okay, we will leave. After Jialin finished speaking, Sule replied. Swaying Lady naturally agreed. After that, Night Sorrow and Jialin entered the space that Xiaowu had created. After entering, Jialin summoned some of the Jia scale bloodline in his body and condensed it into a drop of blood the size of a fingernail. He controlled the drop of blood and flew it in front of Night Sorrow. He said, Cut your heart and drip this drop of Jia scale blood in. Okay. Night Sorrow responded. Without hesitation, he took out a dagger and cut his heart. He cut a hole in his heart and dripped the Jia scale blood in. When Night Sorrow's heart began to absorb the Jia scale blood, he suddenly felt an unbearable pain attack him fiercely. Then, an extremely pure energy exploded in his body. In an instant, Night Sorrow felt his entire body tremble, and he felt the pleasure of breaking through the barrier. Heavenly Supreme. I have finally become a Heavenly Supreme. Other than those existences who have transcended the world, I no longer need to cross realms to fight people. After becoming a Heavenly Supreme, Night Sorrow felt his body and found that he had become much stronger. This degree of improvement could not even be quantified. Basically, the current him could defeat 10 of his former self, and it wouldn't take much effort. And this was under the condition that he had yet to defeat the Lightning Tribulation Energy Avatar. Jialin, thank you. Next, I will go out and fight before the Lightning Tribulation arrives. If the Lightning Tribulation collides with them, it will be difficult to deal with them. Night Sorrow estimated that it would take around 3 days for the Lightning Tribulation energy body to officially descend. He was prepared to get through the crisis before thinking about anything else. Good. I'll recover soon. I won't let you fight alone for too long. Jialin promised and reminded. Menghe and Zhu Qingshuan's strength is not inferior to mine when I go all out. You must be careful. Thank you. I got it. Night Sorrow replied, then flew out of the Eternal Divine Tower while it was still swaying. Who are you? Jialin's subordinate? Seeing Night Sorrow fly out of the Eternal Divine Tower, Menghe immediately berated him coldly. I'm the owner of the Eternal Divine Tower. The two of you have continuously attacked my divine weapon. It's time to settle the score. Night Sorrow said coldly as he released his divine soul power to check on Menghe and Zhu Qingxian. The two of them had continuously attacked the Eternal Divine Tower with half-step supreme grade divine weapons. This had already crossed the line. How arrogant. You've just become a heavenly supreme, and haven't even passed the lightning tribulation. You want to challenge the experts of the Central Court with your strength alone? Zhu Qingxian immediately mocked Night Sorrow when she heard him. Menghe was thoroughly enraged and said, Kid, I don't care who you are, and I don't care if you're Jielin's subordinate. How dare you provoke the two of us like this? Only death awaits you. What last words do you have? Hurry up and say it. Do the experts of the Central Court only know how to attack divine weapons that can't fight back and quarrel with words? After the two of them finished speaking, Night Sorrow, who had released his divine territory, said word by word. Menghe and Zhu Qingxian were both furious when they heard this. How arrogant. I'll let you have a taste of being killed in an instant. Zhu Qingxian roared and used the purple snow-glazed cup that was floating on her shoulder to attack with a half-step supreme grade divine weapon. Your divine weapon's attack is only SSO. While Night Sorrow was observing with the sea serpent's eye, he activated the 33 Heavens battle secret technique and used the defiant 9 steps to dodge the attack. Although the purple snow-glazed cup's attack was ferocious, its speed was not as fast as Night Sorrow's. It missed its target and hit the mountain peak in the distance. What? Its speed is faster than a half-step supreme grade divine weapon's attack. Zhu Qingxuan's expression changed when he saw Night Sorrow easily dodge the purple snow-glazed cup's attack. This was because the purple snow-glazed cup was one of his strongest attacks. The fact that Night Sorrow could easily dodge it proved that Night Sorrow had the ability to fight against him. A cultivator who had just become a heavenly supreme not only had a half-step supreme grade divine weapon, but also a half-step supreme grade divine weapon. This shocked him. He sent a voice transmission to Menghe. This kid in front of us is much faster than us. Use your full strength and kill him. I can see it. This kid is not simple. His talent is above yours and mine. We must get rid of him immediately. Menghe said as he stepped on the long Tianzhou. Standing on the long Tianzhou, he struck at Night Sorrow. This move relied on the speed of the long Tianzhou. Night Sorrow could not dodge it at all. Seeing that Night Sorrow could not dodge, Menghe sneered. Let's see where you can run to. Do I still need to run when facing you? As Night Sorrow faced Menghe's attack, he abruptly used a dozen or so words to reduce his speed. He took out the golden heavenly halberd and blasted out the strengthened divine spear. Buzz. After Yi Shang's attack and Menghe's attack collided, Menghe's attack became even more terrifying. Menghe, who thought he was strong, was directly sent flying. He said in disbelief, How is this possible? This is absolutely impossible. How can I be defeated by a lower heavenly supreme? Don't say useless things there. This person in front of us is not easy to deal with. We can't be careless and use our strongest skill. Seeing that Menghe was a little absent-minded, Zhu Qingxian immediately reminded him. After reminding Menghe, he directly burned his bloodline power and attacked Night Sorrow with his strongest skill. Heavenly Lotus Bloom. This move was taught to Zhu Qingxian by the Vice Dean Nan Gonghe. When it was used, 9 lotus flowers immediately bloomed in the void. When these 9 lotus flowers bloomed, 9 different colors immediately appeared. 9 different lights floated out one after another and attacked Night Sorrow. Not good, Night Demon, be careful. This is Zhu Qingxuan's strongest skill. This move looks very gentle on the surface. But if you are hit by it, all the energy in your body will be absorbed by the 9 lotus flowers. You must dodge it. Seeing Zhu Qingxian use the heavenly river scale, he quickly reminded. Chapter 3262. What? This kind of light actually has such an effect. Hearing Jielin's reminder, Night Sorrow immediately exclaimed. Although he was wary of Zhu Qingxuan's heavenly lotus bloom, he did not expect this move to be so special. He immediately used the divine origin trapping array to seal the space around him, and summoned the dragon of virtue that was disguised with the ancient coffin's aura. He let the dragon of virtue pounce towards the 9 rays of light in front of him. What is this? You overestimate yourself. Seeing the dragon of virtue summoned by Night Sorrow pounce towards the light from the 9 lotus flowers, Zhu Qingxian immediately shouted in contempt. Overestimate myself? Hearing this, Night Sorrow sneered and controlled the dragon of virtue to devour the light in front of him. Although the 9 rays of light in front of him were different in color, they were all evil aura in essence. Against this kind of aura, the power of virtue had a natural restraint. Seeing the dragon of virtue devour all the light from the 9 lotus flowers, Zhu Qingxian immediately said in shock, "This is impossible. What kind of move is this? I didn't expect your strongest skill to be broken by him. This guy is even more terrifying than we imagined. It seems that you and I need to work together to kill him quickly." Seeing Night Sorrow break Zhu Qingxuan's heavenly lotus bloom, Meng He was surprised. At the same time, he also looked at this opponent in front of him as an existence on the same level. Although the two of them attacked just now, they deliberately avoided the attack and did not attack at the same time. At this moment, they were prepared to ignore this kind of face. Alright. Let's attack together and use our strongest attack to kill him. I will use the strongest attack of the purple snow glazed cup. You just need to cooperate with me. Zhu Qingxian, who had her heavenly lotus bloom broken by Night Sorrow, also did not care about face. Alright. I will also use the dragon heavenly boat to use my strongest attack, and strive to kill him in an instant. As Meng He spoke, he shrunk the dragon heavenly boat under his feet, and held it in his palm as he began to prepare an attack. Not good. Night Devil is in danger. I have to go out. Eternal Divine Tower, let me out. Jielin saw the conversation between Meng He and Zhu Qingxian, and immediately spoke. But you have not recovered yet, and you don't have much combat strength. Xiaowu immediately replied upon hearing Jielin's words. Night Devil has already given them enough deterrence. I don't have to make a move when I go out, but I can still act as a deterrent. Quick, let me out. Seeing that the two of them were preparing to attack, Jielin said anxiously. This alright. Jielin's departure was obviously beneficial to Night Sorrow, so Little Five naturally wouldn't stop him. He immediately released Jielin. Jielin, so you guys are together? Seeing Jielin's sudden appearance, the two players who were originally preparing to attack Night Sorrow immediately stopped preparing their attacks. At the same time, they looked at her. Hee, I didn't think that the famous Meng He and Zhu Qingxian would join hands to deal with a new student who just entered the academy. Jielin had expended a lot of energy in his fight with the chess saint. He had also provided Night Sorrow with the Jie scale bloodline. Even though he was trying his best to recover, he was still unable to do so. At this time, he was using medicinal pills to maintain his breathing. Only then did he have enough confidence to shout out. New student? You're saying that he's a new student? Hearing Jielin's words, Meng He was shocked. He had never thought that Night Sorrow, who could suppress them by half a head, was actually a new student. Do you feel fear now? If you give the Night Devil enough time, you will all become ants. Jielin looked at the two of them and said disdainfully. After Jielin finished speaking, Meng He frowned. At this time, Zhu Qingxian said, One Night Devil is enough to make us suffer. Now that Jielin has joined the team, it will be even harder for us to deal with him. Let's leave this place first. Alright. Let's go. After hearing Zhu Qingxuan's voice transmission, Meng He didn't hesitate. He pulled her onto the long Tianzhou and left with Zhu Qingxian. After flying a certain distance, Meng He said unwillingly, Are we going to have to suffer in silence today? The two of us shouldn't be a match for the two of them. We can only endure today. But we can go back and call for reinforcements. As long as we call for Baron Thorn or Si Ming Heavenly Supreme, the two of them will definitely die. Zhu Qingxian said coldly. But the things in the ancient ruins won't attract their attention, right? After Zhu Qingxian finished speaking, Meng He shook his head and said. At this time, Zhu Qingxian continued. They are not interested in the things in the ancient ruins. But the people in the ancient ruins will definitely attract their attention. The night devil is so talented. Will they let him grow? That makes sense. If the two of them hear about the night devil, they will definitely come. Let's go. After Meng He finished speaking, he drove the long Tianzhou and led Zhu Qingxian to the periphery of the ancient ruins. At the same time, Night Sorrow was temporarily relieved. Just now, he could feel that if Meng He and Zhu Qingxian had used the half-step supreme grade divine artifact at the same time, he could only leave his fate to the ancient coffin. That was a choice that was completely up to the heavens. At this time, Jielin, who had spoken confidently, suffered a backlash and his complexion became extremely bad. The crisis has been resolved for now. You should go into the Eternal Divine Tower to rest. There is a space there that can accelerate 10 times, so you can recover quickly. When Night Sorrow saw that Jielin's condition was very bad, he said this and summoned him into the Eternal Divine Tower. The Eternal Divine Tower, which had suffered continuous attacks, was in a state of self-recovery. Then Night Sorrow began to fly into the void under the protection of Su Lei and Dancing Lady to receive the baptism of the lightning tribulation. In the midst of the lightning, he tempered his body. On the third day, Night Sorrow finally received a lightning tribulation energy body that was very similar to his. The lightning tribulation energy body this time was much stronger than what Night Sorrow had encountered in the past. The difficulty of facing it was close to that of the Divine Emperor tribulation. At the crucial moment, Night Sorrow, who had used all his means, had to ask Jielin to use his bloodline to successfully defeat it. After defeating the lightning tribulation energy body, Night Sorrow had completely become a lower heavenly sovereign. Congratulations on successfully becoming a heavenly sovereign. After Night Sorrow had completely passed the lightning tribulation and received the baptism, Dancing Lady immediately congratulated him. Without waiting for Night Sorrow to speak, Su Lei also smiled and said, "Congratulations, you have finally caught up to our realm." Ha! It really wasn't easy. Night Sorrow felt the powerful energy fluctuations in his body. He looked at the Eternal Divine Tower and said, "Eternal Divine Tower, Jielin. Thank you. If not for you, I wouldn't have become a heavenly sovereign so quickly." "No need to thank me. By helping you, I am also helping myself," Jielin replied and said. "Originally, the rest of the journey should have waited for me to recover. But Meng He and Zhu Qingxian will definitely not be satisfied. In a situation where they are no match for us, they will definitely ask for help. Let's hurry and advance to the next great opportunity." "Alright. Then let's set off immediately." After saying this, Night Sorrow brought the Eternal Divine Tower and the three ladies and flew toward the Dead Silent Sea. Chapter 3263. On the way to the Dead Silent Ocean, Jielin said, "Actually, according to the map, there's an opportunity in the Dead Silent Ocean. It's a halberd called Desolation. However, it's the strongest existence in the Dead Silent Ocean. It should be very difficult for us to conquer it. Therefore, it's best for us to cross the Dead Silent Ocean directly. We'll go to the next place and find another great opportunity." Desolation halberd? That sounds very tempting to me. I can consider it in the future. Hearing that the opportunity in the Dead Silent Ocean was the Desolation halberd, Night Sorrow was a little tempted. However, he knew that since Jielin said so, it meant that the Desolation halberd was at least a half-step to the apex. It shouldn't be easy to conquer. He temporarily gave up on the idea of obtaining it. I think that as long as you get some good things in the later great opportunities, you should be able to gain something when you come back to the Dead Silent Ocean. After all, your strength is infinitely close to the half-step to the apex realm. As long as you strengthen your foundation, you should be able to fight against a half-step to the apex realm. Seeing that Night Sorrow was interested in the Desolation halberd, Jielin analyzed. Although Night Sorrow was a lower heavenly supreme, he could already withstand the attacks of a half-step to the apex realm. In the future, it wouldn't be a problem for him to fight against a half-step to the apex realm expert. Night Sorrow was very envious of his talent. I hope so. Also, I want to know how many other great opportunities there are in this ancient site. I also want to know what kind of experts Meng He and Zhu Qingxian can invite. Although they were about to enter the dead silent ocean, Night Sorrow was still clueless about this ancient site. Jialin, Menghe, and Zhu Qingxian were very familiar with this place. This made him feel uncomfortable. Jialin pondered for a moment, and felt that since they were partners, she shouldn't lose anything by telling him this. Therefore she said, this ancient site is actually called the God-Eye Forbidden Ground. Including the dead silent ocean, there are still 3 great opportunities. However, the only thing we can plot against is the Temple of Creation below. If we enter the God-Eye Celestial Palace, we might not be able to return. After saying this, Jialin continued. As for the experts that Menghe and Zhu Qingxian can invite, they were the strongest disciples under the 2 vice principals, Heavenly Exalted Baron Thorn and Heavenly Exalted Life. Although they are all upper heavenly sovereigns, they can already fight with ordinary half-step to Supreme Realm experts. They have such strength. If they join forces to deal with us, the situation won't be optimistic. Do you have any other trump cards? Night Sorrow asked when he heard that Baron Thorn Heavenly Supremacy and Si Ming Heavenly Supremacy both had the strength to take on a half-step to the Supreme Realm. Compared to Menghe, Zhu Qingxian, and the other 3, the 4 of them basically had no ability to resist. This was an undeniable reality. I don't have any backup plans, but I know that there's a teleportation array in the Temple of Creation that can transport you out of the ancient ruins. Let's look for opportunities inside first. If they come, we can use the teleportation array to leave. Jialin said slowly. In fact, under Vice Principal Ji Xian, there were naturally disciples he was proud of. However, that person had coveted Jialin's bloodline, and had always wanted to dual cultivate with him. This caused Jialin to be extremely disgusted with him. Therefore, no matter how difficult the situation was, she didn't want to invite that person over. Since that's the case, let's quickly pass through the deathly silent sea and head for the Temple of Creation. Jialin roughly explained the situation of the God-Eye Forbidden Grounds, but he didn't say what the opportunities inside were. However, Night Sorrow didn't continue asking. After saying this, he took the lead and entered the deathly silent sea. Jialin followed closely behind. As for Su Lei and the swaying woman, they were both in the Eternal Divine Tower, and didn't go with the 2 of them. The moment they entered the deathly silent sea, Night Sorrow felt a strong deathly aura rush toward him. He immediately released his god domain to resist this deathly aura. At this moment, Jialin said, because the entrance to the Temple of Creation is in the deathly silent sea, we must enter this place. It's fine. Just point out the path. I'll lead the way. Night Sorrow said this and began to move forward in the deathly silent sea. After he and Jialin traveled for about an hour, they saw a large group of evil spirit sharks in front of them. These evil spirit sharks had many rotten parts on their bodies, but their aura wasn't weak. However, their auras were not weak at all. More than 100 evil spirit sharks had the strength of a lower heavenly sovereign. Seeing that there were too many of them, Night Sorrow transmitted his voice to Jialin. There are too many of them. If we fight recklessly, we'll waste a lot of time. Let's avoid them. They probably haven't discovered our existence yet. Okay, I haven't dealt with many of these evil spirit creatures, but according to the map, they should be quite fierce. We should avoid them. Jialin said at the same time. After that, she felt that pointing out the path bit by bit was a bit troublesome. She gave the map of the deathly silent sea to Night Sorrow to look at. If we want to go around the evil spirit sharks in front, it's best to choose the trench below them. After looking at it for a while, Night Sorrow made his own judgment. According to the map, there were no evil spirit creatures in the trench. This was the best choice to pass through. Hearing his analysis, Jialin immediately agreed. Okay, let's go. Follow me. Night Sorrow used the sea serpent's eye to look at the evil spirit sharks in the distance, and continued to dive. They dived into the trench. They moved forward together with Jialin. There's really nothing here. It's safe. And the evil spirit sharks above us don't seem to be able to sense us. Jialin, who was following Night Sorrow, said with satisfaction after moving in the trench for a while. She was very satisfied with Night Sorrow's choice. However, after moving in the trench for about 2 hours, Night Sorrow suddenly frowned. He said, "Not good. We seem to have encountered a big one." "What did you discover?" Upon hearing this, Jialin immediately asked in confusion. "If I'm not wrong, we've encountered the Desolation War halberd that you mentioned." Night Sorrow said helplessly. "What? The Desolation War halberd? If you're sure, we need to escape quickly," Jialin said immediately. "It's too late. We've been locked on. The range of its perception is about the same as the range of my vision. Right now we've discovered each other," Night Sorrow said and continued. "And its speed is obviously faster than ours. It's not realistic to want to escape. Since we can't escape, we'll choose to fight with it. As long as it's not an ultimate divine artifact, we still have hope," Jialin said with a frown. Vice Principal Ji Xian and Jialin were the ones who told them not to covet the Desolation War halberd. Originally, she didn't want to find trouble with the Desolation War halberd. You're tuning in to the Echoes of the Heart YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.